You know, one of the most popular video suggestions I always get is what if Naruto befriended Kurama, but you know, that story just never gave me the oomph I was looking for. So after talking some things through with my good buddy Weeb, we came up with, what if Naruto was betrayed and trapped in the time chamber for 1,000 years? But no, jokes aside, we thought up probably one of the most realistic what if scenarios that genuinely could have happened in the real story. A world where Kurama would trick Naruto and ultimately achieve what he had always wanted. So ladies and gentlemen, if all this sounds interesting to you and you enjoy the video, then leave a like, share with a friend, and subscribe. Oh, and did I mention it's my birthday? Because if I didn't, it's my birthday, so you're legally required to give me that birthday treatment today. But jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, grab your snacks, grab your popcorn, and enjoy. Damn it, how could I have let this happen? A young Naruto would say. We would zoom in to Naruto being stuck inside of Kurama's cage. He had been tricked by the Nine Tails and been sealed within the gigantic red cage. And all Naruto could do at this point was bang and clash at the gate, trying to escape, yelling out, "You damn fox, let me out! You tricked me! You tricked me! How did this happen?" And as he's yelling louder and louder, the Nine Tails' voice would echo through the cage. How did this happen? Let me show you.
We start our story at the age of 4, when Naruto was walking home under a snow moonlit night. As Naruto was heading home, he was still lost on his way. With no one to guide him and no one looking for him, he could stay out as long and as late as he wanted to. But on this night, he'd hear the sounds of struggle, of whimpering and pain. As he walked through the snow, his footprints crumpling under the newly fresh fallen snow, he'd see 3 larger boys and a small girl with black hair and ghostly white eyes. They'd be yelling at her, calling her names, pushing her around. Seeing this, Naruto would feel a red rage burning iron hot in his stomach. As he walks forward, he'd throw a punch from behind, sneak attacking them as he yells out his name, saying that Naruto Uzumaki isn't going to put up with any of this. As he starts attacking the 3 bigger boys, Hinata Hyuga, this being the young girl who had been being attacked, would watch in awe as this hero appears before her. The young boy apparently having the upper hand. That is, until the 3 turn on him, beginning to punch him into the ground as his scarf would get torn from his neck. He'd get thrown into the snow as he lays there like a snow angel who's lost its wings. As the 3 would spit on him and walk away saying this isn't worth it, Naruto would laugh as he sits up, his goofy one-toothed grin smiling towards Hinata. Hinata, for the first time, would feel like someone actually understood her, and as she was about to reach out to him, someone would grab her hand. "Lady Hinata, who did this to you? Was it this asshole?" He'd walk forward, grabbing Naruto from the snow as Hinata would cry out saying, No, it wasn't," as he hit Naruto in the face, throwing him back into the ground. The young boy would cough up blood as he hits the ground hard, his sternum collapsing as he feels air leave his lungs. He could barely breathe. He was only feeling tears run down his face as the Hyuga guard would take Hinata and drag her back into the complex. With that, Naruto would pull himself up slowly after several minutes, feeling the air return to his lungs as he could only feel rage as tears streamed down his face. For the first time, he'd actually done something positive, and she hadn't even run away from him this time. Why does everyone hate me so much? Naruto could only wonder as he continues walking home, towards his empty house, towards the dark room, towards the empty fridge where no one was waiting for him to return.
Why? Because you're the nine-tailed fox, Naruto would hear, and as he would hear those chilling words come from that tone of voice that could send shivers down his spine, Naruto would think, what was that? This is when in a panic, a young Naruto would rush through his house, opening doors, opening closets, and finally, making it to the final room. Naruto would open the door as it would slightly creak open, and as Naruto would stick his head in there with a pan in his hand, Naruto would see nothing. This is when he would breathe a sigh of relief and think, it was nothing. At this point, Naruto would then go on to continue the rest of his life thinking that that was nothing, that was just random. And if Naruto's being honest, he had suppressed it so far that he had honestly forgotten that this could ever happen. This is when we would time skip to the next time that Naruto would hear a strange voice in his head.
It was the time when Sasuke and Naruto battled at the academy. The test of friendship, ironic as it might be. Naruto would be fumbling as he throws his best punches, his best kicks, and tries to use taijutsu. He'd slip on the ground, falling into it, as Sasuke would make a t sound. Even as a kid, he was precocious. Sasuke was cool. He was a great fighter, and more than anything, he was popular. The opposite, antithesis of what Naruto was known for, being a loser, weak, and hated by all. As Sasuke stood victorious over him, Naruto would crunch his teeth. Feeling his teeth grinding, he could feel that burning rage inside of him again. And in this moment, he would hear it, a voice telling him exactly what he wanted to hear. If only we had our true power, you would have beaten him easily. Naruto, hearing this voice again, would remember that time, that night when he was 4 years old, when he had tried his best against those 3 bullies and had gotten his ass kicked. It was at that moment that Naruto would stand as Sasuke would turn away and Naruto would proclaim, "I could beat you easily!" And with that, Sasuke and Naruto's rivalry would start, although slightly different than it had originally in canon. Now then, why is this happening? So, basically, Naruto's seal, the way it works with a 2-pronged seal and with the Reaper Death Seal, is Minato was aiming to combine and merge Naruto's chakra with that of the Nine Tails over time. However, the Nine Tails could not speak to Naruto freely like we see later in the series, as you all know, because of the strength of the seal, which weakened by the time Orochimaru fights him in the Forest of Death. However, at this age, just these single moments where someone justifies his actions, where Kurama is on his side, is already telling Naruto that his friends and foes are not who they appear to be. Anyway, with that, we now know that Naruto will be able to access Kurama as he gets emotional, and from this point we skip to where Naruto grows up, and he doesn't fully believe Kurama, but after hearing him again, he knows that he wasn't wrong hearing him the first time, knowing that that voice was actually in his head, and potentially could be his inner voice. Kurama, meanwhile...
Oh, my bad. I was kind of tick over right here.
No, you take it.
Like Zweeb's explaining, pretty much what we're planning to do in this timeline is have Kurama sort of start planting these little seeds of doubt in Naruto's head. And so we see that with that first scene where Naruto gets pissed at the Hyuga member, and then he hears someone tell him he's the 9-tailed demon. That happens at his house. Then we have the second one, the test of friendship, where Naruto hears somebody tell him that if only he had his real power, his original power, they would have beat him easily. And after Naruto pretty much ends up being defeated by Sasuke, he would sit on the ground thinking, there it is again. But as Naruto would sit there, he would make his way home as Naruto would start thinking back to all the laugh and the ridicule that people were doing at him. As Naruto would walk home kicking a can, Naruto could hear the voice once more. If the 4th Hokage had unsealed our chakra, you would have far more control. He weakened us. Your ability to perform ninjutsu is crippled. And unless we can remove this seal, you'll be a failure for all of eternity. Naruto hearing this would think,
the 4th Hokage did this to me? What? After this, Naruto would keep trying, and eventually he'd even take the graduation exams, but he'd continue to be falling into failure. His chakra, as his inner voice told him, continued to fail him. He was unable to weave ninjutsu, and it all made sense to him now. So the 4th Hokage, that bastard, he made me weak on purpose. That's why I couldn't beat Sasuke and why I can't pass this graduation exam, and why I failed 3 times. Iruka would continue to bully Naruto as a professor, essentially telling him that he needs to clean up after himself and not make so much mess for everyone else in the village. This only further isolating Naruto. That is, until Mizuki, that being the other sensei at the academy, tells Naruto of a way he can still pass.
This is when Mizuki would go on to have the situation in the story where he would trick Naruto to going after the scroll of sealing, and literally everything would play out like it does in the original. Mizuki would tell Naruto, give me the scroll, Naruto! And then we have Iruka who's like, don't do it, don't listen to him. It's kind of like good guy and bad guy on his shoulder, like a little angel and like a devil. But as Naruto would be hearing all this, he would think, who does he listen to? But this is when Naruto would hear a voice, don't listen to them. This would lead Naruto to squeezing the scroll as tightly as he possibly could and running as fast as he could. Mizuki seeing this would chase after the boy, but Iruka stepping in his way would lead them to be distracted. This is when a young Naruto standing by the tree, holding onto the scroll, clenching onto it tightly, would be staring at the direction of Mizuki and Iruka and would start hyperventilating. This is when Kurama, knowing that this is his opportunity to take over the kid and start to essentially begin manipulating Naruto, would go on to essentially start telling him,
Naruto, do you hear what they're calling you? Listen. As Naruto would listen harder, hearing the voice inside his head, he'd hear Mizuki and Iruka's conversation, just like in the original, where Naruto eventually had decided to save Iruka, where Iruka said that he's a troll maker and he has no talent at all, but he believes in himself. However, this time, when Mizuki says, "You're going to protect the nine-tailed brat, that demon fox?" Iruka would grit his teeth. "I've hated Naruto for years because of his relationship to murdering my parents, because of the demon fox." As Naruto hears this, his vision and his hearing would turn red. He wouldn't hear the rest of what Iruka had to say. Not the parts about how much effort he put into everything, how he just wanted attention, and how Iruka understood how he felt. Nothing. All Naruto could feel was rage that the one person who was supposed to believe in him and help him grow had only saw him as a failure, just like everyone else. Kurama would tell him, "What are we going to do about it?" As Naruto's teeth would elongate, he'd feel his eyes turn slightly red, his nails now becoming sharp and blade-like, as he runs out from behind the tree, throwing the scroll away as the shadow clone jutsu would emerge, as hundreds of Narutos would appear, surrounding both Iruka and Mizuki. Mizuki would be shocked, saying, You learned how to use that jutsu from that scroll? Huh, maybe he's smarter than we thought." And Iruka would yell out, saying, "Naruto!" At that moment, Naruto would simply scream out, "Shut up!" as he throws his hand forward with his nails sharp and elongated through Iruka's back, the same wound that Mizuki could have inflicted upon him in the original. As Naruto jabs his fist through Iruka, he'd cough out blood as Mizuki would be horrified. Mizuki would laugh, saying, "See, he is just a demon. I told you so, Iruka." But don't worry, Mizuki would get his fair share as well, as the shadow clones would swarm upon both of the shinobi, completely decimating them with the aid of Kurama's chakra pouring through Naruto and his shadow clones. In that moment,
bro, that's fire. That's fire. But I gotta come back on the mic real quick. As this is happening, Naruto rushes towards the direction of Mizuki and kills him as well with multiple blows. They would literally beat Mizuki to death, and as this would happen, Kurama's voice would begin to echo in his mind. He would tell him, "Release me, and my real power could now be yours." Naruto would have this all happen inside of his mindscape, and as this would be going on, Naruto would walk towards a big red gate. Naruto, seeing this, would see a little paper seal on it, and as Naruto gets closer and closer, about to take this seal fully off, this is when suddenly a hand would grab Naruto. Someone with a cloak and yellow hair and blue eyes would stop him. This would be Minato, who would stop him and tell Naruto not to do that. He would give Naruto a big bright smile, and Naruto would say, You're the fourth." Naruto wouldn't look at him with love or questioning eyes or impressed at the fact that he's the fourth Hokage. He would look at him with nothing but hate. Kurama had already planted seeds of hatred for the fourth once he had told him that it's the fourth Hokage's fault that he's trapped in this small body. Because all the little seeds that Kurama's been planting so far have led Naruto to not only believe that he is the Nine Tails, but that his true power was sealed away by Minato. And everything that the villagers have been telling him, even his sensei's words to him, telling him that he was convinced he was the Nine Tails and that's why he treated him so badly, would only cement this. As Naruto would remember all of those voices in his head, and Minato would explain to him that he's his son, he's his father, and he sealed the Nine Tails within him in order to save the village, Naruto would look at him, rage in his eyes, going, "You're lying. You're lying to me. You're trying to stop me from having my real power." Naruto, looking at the eyes of Minato, would stare at him menacingly. And Minato, staring back at his son with loving eyes, would say, "No, Naruto, that's not." But Naruto would tear through him with his claws, as the power of the Nine Tails would cause Naruto to be able to destroy this vestige form of Minato, who doesn't even possess a fraction of his power. And as Naruto would do that, he would hear Kurama's voice say, "Good, Naruto. Now remove the seal." As Naruto would get closer to the seal, he would tear it off and Kurama would have a smile, but the gate wouldn't open because one part was still missing: the key. This is where you're gonna take over, bro, because low-key I need to read the script to catch up.
Was cooking. Okay, for one, that was
I
fantastic.
got down a little?
Yeah, you got down. Dude, I was enjoying that. Anyway, I'll hop in so you guys don't get immersed too quick. So after Naruto had taken out the seal, we see with Naruto now standing over the now dead corpses of Mizuki and Iruka. With both of the shinobi having been taken out, Naruto would only be reaffirmed by the Nine Tails that this was not his fault. The Nine Tails still trying to stumble after he realized there had been 2 seals placed on him, not having realized that there was a second layer of security over the seal protecting him from taking over Naruto. Naruto would stand, his hands shaking now as the rage fades as he sees what he had done to both of his senseis. Kurama would tell him that it's not his fault, it's that bastard Mizuki, saying that Mizuki was the one who told him to steal that scroll, right? And it's Iruka who made himself a target. He said that he hated them. Why would they have mercy on a fool who treated them like crap? Naruto, now hearing this affirmation from himself, would agree as he nods, saying, Yeah, you're right. They wouldn't believe that I could do this to Iruka, right? Iruka-sensei, I would never... He'd slowly fall to the ground as he'd slightly throw up. In that moment, the Anbu would arrive, seeing the boy, now clearly traumatized as they thought, with Naruto coming to grips that he actually took both of his senseis out. Naruto would only point at Mizuki as a scroll of sealing would be next to him, with the Anbu getting the wrong idea that Mizuki had actually successfully stolen the scroll and not Naruto.
Dude, I need to mention something. Do you believe that the Anbu, because remember, everybody except for Iruka was literally trying to go after Naruto and they were pissed. Iruka was like the only person who wasn't on the timing to like straight up beat him up or like throw him in jail. Do you think that they might show hostility towards Naruto, but seeing him unconscious, they're just like, what happened here? And then Naruto might wake up on some Yuji type timing, like tied up to a chair, or like maybe in the Hokage's office with like Hiruzen questioning what happened?
I think that's very possible. I could see Hiruzen like asking him, and the interesting part here is that technically Hiruzen still has that crystal ball where he can kind of see things. It's never mentioned again, but it is part of the story. So Hiruzen did see the fight between Naruto and these two. What he doesn't know, however, is what they said, or like the voices of what happened. So he saw those two, which could be collaborating. It could be possible that Iruka betrayed the village and went with Mizuki, and because of his hatred for Naruto, and Naruto took them both out. But
dude, you know what could be so sick? Hiruzen asked Naruto what happened.
Yeah.
This is when Naruto could have like an expression of just like despair. Like he's like, no, like they're gonna catch me. But then he hears a voice tell him, tell the Hokage that Mizuki and Iruka were working together to get the scroll.
Yep.
And that each of them was gonna betray each other. So Naruto goes on to be like, they were trying to take the scroll of sealing, and they were gonna kill me. That's why I hid, and that's why I used my power. So then right here, Hiruzen looks at Naruto, and he's just like, well, I believe you, Naruto. Even though I wouldn't tell many people this, I actually saw everything that happened. But the truth is, Naruto, I didn't exactly hear everything. And since I have no reason to not believe you, well, here's this. He would have Naruto a leaf Genin headband, as Naruto seeing this would have a look on his face of shock. He's like, wait, does this mean that I'm up?
Yes, you successfully taken down 2 traitors of the Leaf Village. Excellent work. I'd say that's worth being a Genin, isn't it? He'd have a smile on his face.
Alright, so after this, like in the script, me and we pretty much have that he pretty much just graduates the academy. But while I was thinking that I was just gonna like zoom past this dude proceeded to create an actual sick scenario. Mind you, Iruka's dead now, so now that we cut back to the day of Naruto's graduations, let's just say that things are gonna be a little different.
Yeah, so we're getting to the day of graduation. Naruto has been given a headband, now proving his worth as a Genin, but things aren't all happy. There is a crippling silence in this room. Naruto did kill a person, Iruka, his sensei who he's known for years, and he even took out Mizuki. Naruto would be uncharacteristically quiet during the morning class. Where normally Iruka sensei would stand was only a pitch-deafening silence. The class would wait, now chatter silently filling the room, wondering where's Iruka sensei, and why is he not announcing the teams? As the class would be confused, Asuma Sarutobi, that being the leader of Team Inoshikacho, would enter the classroom. He'd quickly have a brief cough to clear the room. He'd begin writing names of students on the blackboard, looking at the paper. It was clear how unfamiliar he was with this scenario, not having been a teacher before. The chalk would make small screeching sounds each time he writes. It was obvious this wasn't an atmosphere that the shinobi was known for. Asuma would then finally speak out loud, saying he'll be taking team lead for Ino Shika Cho, that being, of course, Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru, and Choji. And he would tell the others to wait for their team senseis to arrive. As he'd take his team out, guiding the 3 children out the door, Asuma would turn with one last look, seemingly glancing at Naruto before shutting the door. Naruto would feel his spine go cold, as he'd wonder, does he suspect me? Sakura would suddenly speak, interrupting his thoughts. What was that all about? And where the heck is Iruka-sensei? Naruto would just snap at her. Who cares? What's your problem? Sheesh. Sasuke would just remain silent, indifferent to who was and who wasn't in this classroom. As Kakashi Hatake would enter the room, the gray-haired ninja now staring down his book, he would turn to the final remaining group of students, Team 7.
Alright, this is when we would end up getting the introduction section, and the only change that I could see possibly happening in this timeline is that with Naruto having taken the seal off, a big thing happened. I don't know if you guys could tell, but after this moment, Naruto starts hearing the Nine Tails way more frequently. Now it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship, where if you guys have seen the Venom movies, Naruto's kind of just going to be hearing Kurama's voice talk to him whenever it kind of pleases him. So as Naruto would be sitting there, he'd be thinking about what his goals are. And this is when Naruto would have an image of the giant 9-tailed fox that he knows is inside of him. As Naruto would see that, he would then think back to everything that's led him here. And as Naruto would sit there silently, suddenly Kakashi would ask, "So Naruto, what are your goals?" Naruto would turn to him.
Clearly, I want to release the 9-tailed fox and destroy the Leaf Village.
Bro, y'all wouldn't believe this, but yesterday when we were scripting, this dude Weeb was literally doing that every 5 seconds. I was like, all right, what does he say? And then me and Weeb started cracking jokes for what was it, like 10 minutes?
Oh, it was so funny. Yeah.
It was hilarious, bro. It was hilarious. But all jokes aside, Naruto would kind of just turn to Kakashi, and with a blank expression, he would say, "To get back what was taken from me." After he would say this, Kakashi would look at Naruto questioningly, and then he's just like, all right, well, meet me here tomorrow. We're going to see if you're worthy of becoming my genin. This is when he would inform them about the training the next day and how they shouldn't eat. And then we would end up finally getting the bell test, which while we were talking about this, me and we were like, wait, should he use the power of the Nine Tails? Because obviously in this timeline, the Nine Tails is not exactly holding the power away from him, and he's like giving Naruto access to his strength. But the more we talked about it, we were just like, nah, like let's definitely not give the power to Nine Tails just yet to Naruto. Like it should be something that happens later. So instead, the entirety of the bell test would actually pretty much remain the same. Naruto tries to get the bells on his own, showing just how strong he is and thinking of himself as better than what he is, because he genuinely thinks of himself as the Nine Tails. He believes him. He would think that he's so much superior. But as he fails and ultimately gets hit with 1,000 years of death and gets unconscious, Naruto would pretty much wake up being tied to a post, as he would look around seeing Sasuke and Sakura. This is when Naruto would start thinking, damn it, did he really beat me? Well, he won't beat me if I use that power. This is when Naruto in his head would say, Kurama, let me use your power, our power. Kurama would turn to Naruto, telling him that it's not smart to use it, but Naruto would say, to hell with that, I'm gonna show Kakashi that he's not better than me. And so Kurama would nod, telling Naruto to do whatever he thinks is best. This is when Naruto would have like a steel-eyed expression, like he's locked in, he's like, I'm about to destroy this guy. But this is when we would get the whole Sakura feeding them scene, and once Sakura starts to feed Naruto, I could see his whole like bravado disappear, where he's just like, Sakura's feeding me, you know what I mean? Like the real Naruto kicks back in for a second.
Yeah, no, I like that. He's not fully brainwashed yet, of course.
Exactly, right. Then Kakashi comes in and he's all like, you pass, because like they fed their teammates. Then he tells them the whole like little, you know, you're worse than scum, yada yada yada, which ultimately leads us to about 2 or
You're
1
worse
week.
than scum. Oh no.
Oh, is that how I put it?
That's how you put it. The context is crazy. Okay, for someone who hasn't seen
my
it,
bad.
the
My
quote
bad.
is like one of Kakashi's best quotes. It's those who fail the mission are scum, but those who abandon their friends are worse than scum. Okay, he did not call Team 7 scum. We can keep going.
All right. So after this happens, we get the 1 to 2 week period in time where the team would go on D or E or D rank missions.
Yes.
And after this whole period would finally take place, we get the beginning of the Land of the Waves arc. And Weeb and I thought of such a cool scene. Do you guys remember the first little thing that happens in the story where Sasuke's all like scaredy cat to Naruto? This is where we would have the first change in Naruto's character, where he finally has his little aura farm moment. When the 2 demon brothers would rush to the direction of Kakashi and kill him, quote unquote, Naruto, having experienced what it's like to actually take the life of someone else, would not actually have the same scared and like unprepared demeanor that he had in the original. Naruto in this moment would actually like channel the power of the Nine Tails for just a split second, and as one of the demon brothers would rush to his direction, Naruto would actually handle this with ease. He would sidestep the Chunin, who lunging at him with this weird claw-like weapon would slightly cut into Naruto's hand, but as Naruto would sidestep, he would extend his leg with the demon brother falling to the ground. This is when Naruto would stomp on his arm as he'd be on the ground trying to get up, and as he would be doing this, Naruto would look down on the Chunin, just pretty much giving him the stare of I'm above you. He would have such a sick, like if only I could animate it, you guys would see what kind of stare he has, but this is no longer the normal Naruto that we're all used to. And as Naruto would do this, suddenly Naruto would hear the voice of Kakashi. This is when Naruto would go back to how he normally would act, and he's staring back to the direction of Kakashi. Kakashi would look at the eyes of Naruto, who for a split second didn't remove that gaze of like, I'm gonna kill you. Kind of like if you guys have ever been like angry and then or like sad or upset or anything, and then you look at someone and like you try to hide it, your gaze changes. Naruto didn't do that fast enough, and Kakashi noticing that would be like, what? Those eyes aren't normal. Not for an inexperienced Genin. Naruto was way too comfortable at getting attacked. As he would think these thoughts, this is when Sakura would go on to say, Naruto, are you okay? Naruto turning towards her saying, yeah, he's fine. She would then look at his hand going, wait, I saw you get stabbed. Naruto looks at Sakura and would say, no, I don't know what you're talking about, since his injuries had fully healed just for that split second that Kurama's power flowed through him. Kakashi would wonder where that strange chakra signature came from, thinking that it must have belonged to the Chunins, thinking that maybe that had to be it, right? There's no way that was Naruto, could it have been? But as this would happen, Kakashi would pretty much go on to interrogate Tazuna, telling him that this is definitely not a C rank mission. It's a B or A rank at least. And after he would expose the guy, he pretty much ends up, what's the word I'm looking for? Guilt tripping? Is that it? He guilt trips the team to continue?
Oh yeah, Tazuna's like, I don't have enough money because of this guy, Gato. We could only afford a C rank mission. The Leaf Village charges premium.
Dude, I don't know how much. You know what's something that I've always wanted to know? How much do the people actually, exactly, how much do they make? Dude, I would have loved to have found that out with like, dude, you know what would have been so sick? If Kishimoto introduced like actual like bounty hunting and did something with the bingo book, like where Naruto needed quick cash and for like a filler
hunt
thing,
down
he ended
rogue shinobi.
Bro, that would have been such a sick arc.
Yeah.
Like, they had to do it because the destruction of the Hidden Leaf cost so much money. So they went on like a mini arc where they started trying to get money as fast as possible.
We gotta get you in the filler author's office, man. You would have cooked. I'm just saying.
Bro, tell me that wouldn't be tough. But yeah, after this happens, we would then get the Zabuza situation. And do you want to cover that one? Just because I know I've been yapping for long.
No, yeah, you're good.
Bet.
So I'll hop in. So after the 2 demon twin brothers had been taken out, the Chunin, Naruto and the other team would be on guard, with Tazuna having spilled the beans on the truth behind this mission and its importance to the Land of Waves. With the team going forward, this same scene would occur where Kakashi would sense Zabuza. However, this time, a voice would tell Naruto to get down besides Kakashi. It was Kurama. The voice in his head would yell, "Get to the ground," or "Dive." At that moment, Kurama would instruct Naruto, and he'd listen to him instantly, being the first to drop to his knees. Kakashi telling everyone else to, Sakura, Sasuke, and Tazuna would hit the ground, as a sword flies where their heads had once been and lodges into a tree trunk. And at that exact moment, Kakashi himself could barely see it, as a man with white bandages around his head and a scratch on his headband would appear. This, of course, being Zabuza from the Mist Village, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Mist. Kakashi had heard about this, these 7 legendary swords, and of course the power of the wielders who held them. Kakashi would stand telling everyone to be on guard to protect the bridge builder. At that moment, as Kakashi steps forward ready to take on Zabuza, Naruto would grit his teeth thinking, "Damn it, he really made me get to the ground, huh? This guy must be dangerous. If Kurama's worried about it, then we really should be on guard," he'd think. At that moment, Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto would protect Tazuna. However, as Naruto watches the fight between Kakashi, it would only be a matter of time before Zabuza pulls out his trump card, saying after he captures Kakashi with the water prison jutsu, it was only a matter of time before these weak, pathetic genin would die at his hands. Hearing him being called weak and pathetic, Naruto would step aside. With Sasuke wondering if they're about to take him on together, he'd step forward as well before Naruto throws his hand out. "That was arrogant. You really think you have even a slight chance of killing me?" he'd say as he looks at Zabuza. With his hands stretched out, his nails begin to elongate into claws as he taps into the One-Tails form of the Nine-Tails, an orange cloak covering him. Zabuza's eyes would widen. His chakra is visible. What is that? However, before he could even finish thinking this, Naruto would appear above him as he punches him into the lake. He had run at supersonic speeds, his footprints now reverberating over the water, causing raindrops to fall as he had punched Zabuza beneath the waves. His fist having caused Zabuza's arm to be compressed as blood and bruises would already begin to form. With that, Sakura and Sasuke's mouth would be hung agape. He just ran on water? Like Kakashi Sensei and this Zabuza guy were? Does he know how to? Sakura would then ask, with Sasuke pointing out, "No, he just ran on it. That was purely physical strength." In that moment, Zabuza would get sent flying unconscious from the water, skidding like a rock. As Naruto would then fall into the water himself, Kakashi would wake up from the water prison jutsu, amazed as he saw the entire thing go down, pointing out how fast Naruto had to have been in order to actually hit Zabuza at such strength to send him crashing across the lake like that. Naruto would turn back to Kakashi saying he should handle it from here as he tries to swim back to shore, feeling the drain on his stamina from accessing so much of his own power like that. Kurama would be grinning inside of him, complimenting him and saying that was the most power we've accessed yet. It won't be much longer now, as Naruto would grin as he continues swimming back to shore. While now Zabuza and Kakashi would try to continue their fight, Zabuza would know that he can't win at this point, having taken so much damage from that attack. He would try and vanish, using the mist jutsu he would later have revealed on the bridge and revealing that card earlier than in the original, as he disappears into the tree line. Kakashi would think about going after him, but would decide to protect the bridge builder instead, saying it's not worth going off on his own at this point. After this, Kakashi would begin to question Naruto, asking how he managed to do that. Of course, Kakashi is aware of the truth that Naruto does have the Nine-Tails power, but Naruto doesn't know this. Naruto would stiffen up, his back straight as a board, not even knowing what to say, when Kurama would once again whisper into his mind, as he had in the office with Hiruzen, telling him what to say. He'd tell Kakashi, Kakashi-sensei, I got so upset when I saw you in danger and I wanted to save you. Guess it was just adrenaline." He'd scratch the back of his head with a fake smile and laugh, but for Naruto, it sounded pretty realistic. He had a sweat drop going down his head. Kakashi would begin to wonder if Naruto actually knows about the Nine-Tails. Naruto playing dumb successfully worked. Kakashi was still shocked that he was able to use it, and he was impressed, wondering if Naruto is some kind of prodigy as a Jinchuriki. Anyway, after seeing how Naruto fell into the water like that, he'd have an idea, saying in case that Team 7 needed to fight on water again, it was worth teaching them some chakra control to do the water walking jutsu. But first, he'd explain, before you can walk on water, it's important you learn how to walk on trees. explaining that the chakra in a side of a tree, the living chakra itself, would help you learn how to master it within your feet. He'd give tips to the entire team, with Sasuke picking it up relatively quickly. Naruto would feel slightly behind, that is, until Kurama himself would appear in his mind, giving himself tips on how he can control his chakra in his feet better, making it even easier than when Kakashi was there, since Kurama can actually help manipulate Naruto's chakra since the first seal has been removed. With Kurama assisting Naruto in his chakra control, instead of making it worse, he would make Sasuke look like he was nothing, and Naruto look like a prodigy. Sasuke, who had been doing so well on the tree walking exercise, would be stunned, as Naruto yawned, saying, "I guess it's time I move to water," saying he's heading back to the lake shore. Naruto isn't seeking friendship. He's better than everyone, and he doesn't like Sasuke or Sakura, although he does think Sakura's still cute. But those leaf shinobi, he can't trust any of them.
Once we would get to this section, I do have to mention one thing. Remember, Naruto, with the way that he is in this timeline, he's not overtraining because thanks to Kurama, Naruto feels so confident in his abilities, or technically the Nine Tails' power, and he's become so over-reliant to it that Naruto doesn't think of training as something that he necessarily has to do. Naruto would view himself as all he needs to do is unlock his power, and since he's pretty much starting to be more and more convinced that Kurama and him are really the same person, this would just lead Naruto to having a big ego and just this whole like bravado to him that the original Naruto just would never have, which ultimately would lead us to the fight on the bridge where Zabuza would enter using his massive Mist-Jutsu, and once we would have a stare down between Team 7 and Zabuza and Haku, Naruto would stare at the direction of Zabuza as he would say, "How are those wounds doing?" This would piss Zabuza off, who would grip his blade even tighter, but this would also serve to anger Haku, who would rush at Naruto, beginning their own fight. This is when Naruto and Haku would begin clashing, but as Haku would start everything off, ultimately outclassing Naruto with his speed and finesse, suddenly Naruto's eyes would change color, and since we know that the original Naruto didn't even use one tail, once Naruto would tap into this, the battle would entirely change. Naruto's speed and strength would start to overwhelm Haku so unbelievably badly that he would kill Haku without any remorse about 7 seconds into the fight. Haku would have started off by landing a couple of blows, but Naruto just smirks and bam! One hit straight through his stomach as Naruto's nails would pierce out through the other side.
Bro, can I add something? When Naruto's inside the Demon Ice Mirror Jutsu and he's using his Senbon, Naruto with the One Tails cloak can heal so quickly, he's just standing there as his wounds would heal faster than Haku can even make them.
Oh yeah, that's a sick scene. So like the first thing that Haku does is like push him back, and then bam, demonic Ice Mirror Jutsu. And he's like trying to kill Naruto because he doesn't know him, but Naruto's in his Nine Tails form. Oh dude, that's sick.
That's what I'm saying.
It's so tough because he could straight up, like once he activates it, he could punch Haku straight out of the mirror, and like he breaks his mask and then he leaps up into the air and just punches his fist through his stomach. Bro, that'd be so tough. After this would happen and Naruto would kill Haku without any remorse, you know, because obviously he had never seen him before, so he wouldn't care about him, Naruto would turn to the direction of Kakashi, who, seeing him also pierce Zabuza with his Chidori in this moment, Naruto would kind of just like stare at his hands, seeing the blood covering them, as a slight grin would appear. This is when Kakashi, turning to Naruto, seeing how covered in blood Naruto's hands are, would pretty much end up reminiscing to his time in the Anbu and what he was like as a young shinobi. This would lead Kakashi to thinking to himself that Naruto could be going down a dark path. And so, once Gato and his men would finally end up arriving to the scene, we would have a scene of Naruto stepping in front of everybody, with him wanting to kill every single person there. But this is when Kakashi's hand would come over Naruto, and he would pretty much like hold him by the shoulder, saying, "Don't worry about this, I'll take on the burden." He would walk in front of Naruto, and as he would crack his knuckles, creating 3 shadow clones, Kakashi, staring at the direction of Gato, would then hear chuckles. Gato at this point would say, "So, you think you can take on all my men? Well, I have some bad news for you." Gato would start to pretty much tell them that like he's captured 2 people. And this is when Kakashi and everyone would go wide-eyed. They're all like, "What? You captured them?" But as Gato would be spewing this on, suddenly the villagers would arrive saying, "What? Who captured who exactly? As they would see both of the shinobi unconscious being dragged by 2 ropes. This is when Inari would come in with the little like casserole thing on his head as a helmet and a spoon for him to use as a sword. They all would stand in front of them, and as Gato would see the scene of the entire village plus the shinobi standing up to him, this would lead Gato to being absolutely terrified. This is when Naruto would tell Gato that he's nothing but scum. And as this would play out, Kakashi, Naruto, and everybody would smirk, all the while Gato, seeing how many people are coming against him, would start to run away. This is when we get some Looney Tunes type scene where like they're all crammed into a boat, and as they're like pretty much like going away about to run off, this is when Kakashi, holding true to his word of destroying them, would weave hand signs for a great fire style jutsu, as a massive wave of fire would engulf the boat and would cause it to explode in a blaze. This is when Naruto, watching on, would have a huge smile on his face, and Kakashi would cover his eye back up with his headband. This is when he would turn to Naruto, ruffling his hand through his hair and telling Naruto that everything's over.
Not the one covered in blood, please.
Yeah. No, not the one covered in blood, another one.
Okay.
This is when Naruto would look at Bro, what? Not the one covered in, he just fills his head with blood.
I just thought of that. You said his hand was covered in blood from the Chidori, and now
I know, but he has a good hand.
Okay, keep going.
Okay.
I was listening and I just heard it. I'm like, no way, you just forgot he said that. Okay, all right, keep going.
No. He has one good hand. Remember that. But anyways, after this would take place, the entire mission would be over, and returning back to the village, I could see them having a bit of like a scene where Hiruzen was about to be told like everything that had happened. Once this happens, Naruto pretty much ends up like just sitting there, and like Hiruzen and him like lock eyes. Naruto would look at him and be like, Naruto, I'm so glad that you were able to use your Nine Tails power. And this is where I see one of two things happening. Right? Because Hiruzen would probably be like, oh, like it's all good. But here 2 things can happen. Hiruzen's suspicions of Naruto potentially like having more access to the Nine Tails than he lets on could lead him to like questioning him, or not. What do you think, Weeb?
Honestly, like Hiruzen would rather wipe his own ass than do anything to potentially help the village out. So I don't see him even questioning Naruto. He just think that's way too much of a hassle. If I didn't do it for the Uchiha clan, why would I do it for this guy? Whatever, I'll let it slide.
Helping the village by questioning Naruto? No thanks. I think I'd rather hit my pipe.
Honestly, like I think Hiruzen, he would rather just continue to raise taxes in the village so he can afford his Uzumaki, like his mansion, than rather actually do any work.
Bro, Hiruzen would literally be like, Naruto was responsible for killing Iruka and Mizuki, and now he used his power to take on somebody the likes of one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Huh.
What an excellent Jinchuriki.
Yeah, what an excellent Jinchuriki. No, dude, he's literally just thinking that he's like, wow, Minato must be so proud.
He's just like his father.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bro, he has like no suspicions. The dude has all the dots to connect, but he's just not doing it.
He's too busy.
He's like Patrick.
He's too busy on the Za, man. He's not even looking.
All right, but done wasting time. Naruto, after this would happen, would pretty much be informed by Kakashi about what's gonna happen with the Chunin exams. And once this would happen, one thing would easily take place. And that would be that Naruto would pretty much spend some of his time polishing up his chakra control and maybe his ninjutsu skills, like walking on water and stuff, while he's pretty much waiting for the Chunin exams to begin. Because remember, there was about 1 week, if not 2 weeks prior to this where this happened. Oh, and in this timeline, there's not going to be any interactions between Naruto and Konohamaru, so we don't even meet the Sand siblings in this timeline. So we're able to just straight up skip straight to when they actually enter the tower.
The time finally comes. Team 7 agreed that they're going to take this exam. Naruto's confident. Sasuke is wondering if he's actually keeping up and is already beginning to feel undermined, seeing how strong Naruto is. And Sakura is just glazing Sasuke as normal. As they enter the tower, Sasuke doesn't even have the genjutsu resistance because he doesn't have his Sharingan. So Neji and the others would easily get through the genjutsu. It would actually be Naruto who recognizes it, with Kurama telling him that they've been walking in circles. Huh? Really? Kurama would nod, saying, "You wouldn't know this, but in our original form, we're almost completely immune to genjutsu." Kurama would say happily. Naruto would nod, saying, "Thanks! I'm glad we're working on this together, huh? Alright guys, come on, this is a genjutsu." Sasuke would be shocked. It is? And again, feeling undermined since that's supposed to be his thing, or Sakura's thing, who was told she was good at it. With Naruto breaking the genjutsu with Kurama's help, the Team 7 would again make it to the top floor, where they had kept walking past before. Neji and Rock Lee would eventually run into them, being surprised they had made it through. With Neji saying to Sasuke, Neji had already made it through. It would be Lee who says to Sasuke, "So, you're the Uchiha, the #1 rookie from your graduating class, huh?" Sasuke would turn, his hands in his pockets. "Yeah, what is it to you?" He'd look Rock Lee up and down, thinking he has a strange appearance. Naruto would sit back and watch, crossing his arms, and already beginning to get an idea of where this is going. With Lee now challenging Sasuke to see who's stronger, Sasuke was looking just for the perfect punching bag, now after being outdone by Naruto once again. "Sure, I need a little warm-up before the exam anyway." He'd crack his knuckles as Lee and him would stare each other down. And Sasuke would proceed to get whooped. Leaf Lotus! We got Rock Lee whooping Sasuke. He'd be throwing the ones. His fists would be bouncing Sasuke off the ground like a basketball. Sasuke, his ears would be ringing. He'd barely be able to do anything. He doesn't even have the Sharingan this time, so he can't even watch as Lee is whooping him. He can't even see him as Lee is giving Sasuke the treatment. This would be when Guy comes in and saves Sasuke, with Guy showing up and kicking him with a Leaf Hurricane. "Lee, you know you can't treat those weaker than you like this. I thought I trained you better." Lee would stand up. "Guy-sensei, I really thought he was stronger. I heard he was the strongest of his year. Maybe I was wrong?"
That was devious. "Didn't I tell you not to treat those weaker than you?" That was devious. If I heard that after getting my brains beat out, bro. Oh man, I'm taking the gun out.
Sasuke pulling out the Sharingan. "Check out my 3-piece."
"Don't pull out the 9. Yeah, it's just, bro.
No, sorry.
Man.
You know I had to do him like that. My Guy voice always goes hard. "That's because I'm Mike Guy, the blue-balled beast of the leaf."
The little beast.
"That was many years ago. Kakashi, it doesn't look like that anymore." Anyway, let's keep going. The rest of the exam would continue with the team walking in, and Naruto would have just laughed at Sasuke on the ground, especially after Guy's comment. Sasuke would be even more upset. This had not helped him feel better at all. Inside the exam, this is where Naruto would finally feel fear for the first time since the story's really started and he's gotten actually, some power. Exams. Naruto barely studied. He was still a, knucklehead. As he's sitting there sweating, Hinata would be sitting next to him, preparing to offer her answer sheet. That is, until Kurama would sigh inside Naruto, saying, "I guess when the 4th Hokage sealed us, I got all the brains." As he began telling Naruto the answers to the sheet, he'd smile, thanking once again for having his little assistant of himself who actually knows the answers to some of these. As he began answering the questions, Hinata would be surprised, wondering if Naruto was really stressed or if something else was going on. So anyway, he helps Naruto, and Naruto only further believes Kurama and now feels like they really are one person, that Kurama's telling the truth and can't lie to him, because he ended up passing the exam. In this version, he doesn't know that it's because he stuck through to the end while everyone else gave up. He genuinely thinks that he is smart enough to pass this exam, and believes Kurama is like his secret weapon, only reaffirming that ego and that overconfidence that Xehther was talking about earlier. Now, we're at the Forest of Death, so I'm going to pass the mic back to Xehther because this section, he always cooks.
This is where I can pretty much see Naruto and the team taking their Earth Scroll, and as they make their way towards it, they would all stare at the forest as they would all begin thinking to themselves how they're going to approach this. This is when Sasuke would say that he suggests that they pick a leader, and seeing as he's the smartest one here, he thinks that he should be the leader. Naruto hearing this would scoff, going, "Really? You, Sasuke?" Because obviously he has the superiority complex now. He's kind of like another Sasuke at this point. Sasuke would just look at him and go, "Yeah, you got a problem with it, Naruto?" To which Naruto would say, "Yeah, I got a problem with it. You think I'm gonna let the guy who lost a bushy brows boss me around? Yeah, no thanks." This is when he would go on to stare at Sasuke, who glaring at him would say, "What was that?" He would then pretty much end up telling Sasuke that he's not going to be following him at all.
As Naruto is telling Sasuke that he's not going to follow him and he's going to be the leader himself, pointing a thumb at him, he'd then have a great idea as a mischievous grin would crawl into Naruto's face. He'd open his eyes as they'd flash red with a long, elongated black pupil, saying, "You know, we can always fight for it." Sasuke would feel sweat drop down his head, watching in his memories as he had obliterated Haku, the guy so fast Sasuke couldn't even keep up with him or see him, and had probably been about to run the ones with 7 ninja swords into the mist. Sasuke would back off, saying it's not worth it, and it's not about the strongest, but whatever. Do whatever you want. If you lead us to fail, then I'll hold this against you until the day you die. As Sasuke says this, Sakura would then get annoyed, saying, It's not about who's the strongest. Sasuke's clearly the best shinobi among us. You're just a big muscle. Before she can get herself into an even deeper hole, Sasuke would tell Sakura to drop it, saying it's not worth it. With Sasuke actually feeling a little more empathetic to Sakura this time. As it's been established that Naruto is the team leader, he's not going to fall for the prank with the bathroom thing this time, and even if he does use the restroom, the shinobi who tries to jump him and take his place would get whooped. There's no doubt about it. With Kurama watching his back, there's nothing. Basically, there's only 2 or 3 people in this entire forest who can even have a chance at fighting Naruto. Anyway, Naruto returns saying, that was peaceful, and oh, I found this while I was there. He'd hold up the scroll that they had all been looking for. What? How? Sakura would be shocked and frankly stunned. It was at this point that Naruto would eventually begin to feel something strange, as Sasuke and Sakura would slowly feel a chill settle in the air. That's right, the atmosphere would shift. The tension from the silence, the forest which previously had birds and other animals moving around, would go quiet. Why is it so quiet? Naruto's ears would listen deeper, as he began to hear a humming sound. Rum, 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 rum. What is that? As he turned to move, cutting the tension in this icy chill, a enormous snake would rip through the undergrowth, chomping down on Naruto as he screams as he gets pulled inside of the snake and thrown off into the woods. Sasuke and Sakura could only stand stock still, as that was not even the greatest threat to arrive. No, it was what the giant snake carried upon its back. The icy chill sourced from them, from her, from whatever it was. This shinobi had a grass symbol on its forehead. The grass ninja now arriving, Sasuke would again be stock still, being the true scaredy cat, as he then eventually follows the same move that Naruto would have done in the original, taking a kunai and stabbing himself in the hand. As Sakura would turn, wondering, what? Orochimaru would lick its lips. No, I'm just kidding. Orochimaru would lick his lips, as Sasuke would then rush forward with the kunai, pulling it out of his own hand, the blood dripping down the kunai. I don't know who you are, but I'm gonna prove that I'm not weak here and now. As Sasuke jumps up the tree, using his chakra control training, he'd lunge down from the top of a tree branch, now using gravity to increase his speed. He'd slice down with a kunai, as Orochimaru would easily sidestep him, using one hand to block the kunai strikes as Sasuke tries to move in for close combat. However, this is when Orochimaru would extend his arm, thrashing at Sasuke. Sasuke would be surprised by this jutsu, seeing his arm extend as he gets sent flying off the tree branch and colliding into another tree trunk. This time he'd pull out the wires he used in the original, using them as he wraps them around the tree line to cause smoke to burn, as he caused another tree to fall onto Orochimaru, flying through the undergrowth as he throws a few more kicks and punches, dodging under these extended strikes. Orochimaru and Sasuke would continue this back and forth for a while, with Orochimaru's eyes and Sasuke's occasionally meeting, causing Sasuke's footing to stop. As Orochimaru would wonder, saying audibly out loud, and putting this fight to an end. Sasuke Uchiha, I wonder why you refuse to use your clan's power. Where's that Sharingan? Sasuke would move at a stock speed. His movements, which had been fast and fluid, would freeze. Huh? It was the question he'd been wondering this whole time. By his age, Itachi had already awakened the Sharingan, the man he hated most. And he had done nothing. He felt like a failure. At that exact moment, as Orochimaru smiled, about to strike Sasuke's neck with his teeth, someone would appear.
You know what'd be so sick? I gotta insert this. Orochimaru would probably end up pretty much pointing this out. You know, your brother had the Sharingan at your age. and he was already a genius. It's a shame. You really aren't living up to your potential in this village. But if you were with me, I could give you strength. This is when like his neck extends and then boom, Naruto comes in.
So as Sasuke is about to be bitten and given the curse mark by Orochimaru, Naruto would appear. Orochimaru would be blindsided, not expecting this much speed, considering that he wasn't expecting Naruto's arrival in the original when he had that large snake attacking Sasuke. When Orochimaru was about to make that final strike, Naruto would appear with his left hand gripping the larynx of Orochimaru and squeezing his windpipe. Orochimaru would cough as he could feel the air in his lungs being trapped.
What is this?
As he looked down, he'd see red chakra emanating over him.
You, the Nine Tails Jinchuriki.
As he says this out loud, Naruto would raise an eyebrow. Huh? What'd you say? I couldn't hear you over you choking on your life. As he threw a punch into Orochimaru's neck, his fist would cause a bruise mark to appear as Orochimaru slashes about, retrieving his body and retracting his neck. Sasuke would stand stock still sweating as Naruto would finally turn, as we'd see Naruto enter into the two-tailed state, with two tails of the Nine Tails cloak covering him. He'd grin, his teeth elongating now, as his lips are turning slightly black.
Oh, bro, that has to be one of the most mustiest character designs. The freaking 3 and 2 tail. No, I think it's the 2-tail state where he gets like that disgusting black line.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's just so dirty, bro.
His whiskers turn darker. He starts looking more animalistic. He turns and looks at Sasuke. You're such a scaredy cat. I told you I should have been leader. With that, Orochimaru and Naruto's fight would begin, with Naruto entering with overwhelming confidence, his power, as he believes it, even higher than before. With that, he'd throw a punch to Orochimaru, with the wind actually being caught in his fist. With this, he could actually throw the air like an air cannon, and with that much strength, Orochimaru was forced to dodge. However, the gap in their skill was clearly being revealed, as Orochimaru, with both of his arms not sealed, was more than a match for a two-tailed child Naruto. Naruto, who started overconfidently, would begin to falter as his grin would turn to a grimace.
What's happening? Kurama! We need more power. He's overwhelming.
As he's about to say this, Orochimaru would say, "That's enough of that," as he then pulls out his 5-pronged seal, jabbing it into Naruto's gut as he holds him up and twists, resealing and strengthening the seal of the Nine Tails and cutting off Naruto's access to Kurama. Naruto would scream out in pain as his chakra was forcibly reversed, as Orochimaru would throw Naruto to the ground, saying, "It would do for you to fight your own battles for once," as Naruto would crash into the floor below. Orochimaru would take his chance, and now would fight Sasuke, finally implanting the curse seal on him.
Bro, that was fun. See, this is why I had you do the forest of like the Orochimaru fight. There's no way I would have included the Sasuke fight. I would have just been like, Orochimaru beats Naruto. Like, I would have just skimmed through that, but that was heat, bro. But anyways, after this would end up taking place, we would then get Naruto awakening back up right as Sasuke would awaken his curse mark power, and he would be in the process of breaking the dude's arms. Naruto wouldn't watch this in fear, being like, Sasuke, like, how could you? But instead, seeing the power that Sasuke is displaying, and the fact that I would like to think that Sasuke would probably maybe awaken the Sharingan right as he got bit or something like that. So we would then get like Sasuke doing this and he's like breaking his arms, and Naruto's like, I've got to help. But he feels like, Kurama. He doesn't feel the power. And so he just watches on helplessly as he sees Sasuke so much stronger than him. Naruto would actually feel a bit of fear, and Naruto, feeling himself slightly start to shake at seeing Sasuke and meeting his gaze, Naruto could feel himself kind of like look down. You know what I mean? Like they meet their eyes and Naruto can't, like he can't stare at him directly. So then Sasuke just looks at him and goes, what's wrong, scaredy cat? Like he does it back to Sasuke, and then they make their way to the forest, right, to the tower, sorry. Once there, this is when we would then get Naruto pretty much battling with the fact that without having access to Kurama, he is nothing. Like Naruto this entire time, ever since he ended up having the Iruka thing happen to him, Naruto has been so over reliant on Kurama's power that he hasn't bothered. he doesn't even bother to do anything. That's all Naruto has at his disposal. So once we would get to the 1v1 battle between Naruto and Kiba, the only way and the only reason that Naruto's passing is because we need him to for the story.
Well, he has Shadow Clone Jutsu still. He still has a Shadow Clone Jutsu.
But in my head, remember, Kiba was overwhelming Naruto, and Naruto was still using that in the original timeline.
Yeah.
The only reason Naruto won...
I got something for that scene too.
What?
So in the original, Kiba says, you're known for your Shadow Clone Jutsu, but a bunch of weaklings is still a weakling. And then he's the thing over thing. This time, he's not known for his Shadow Clone Jutsu. He's known for his overwhelming speed and strength. So he'd say, I thought you were supposed to be super fast and strong. Me and Akamaru were way faster than you.
Hold on. It would be so much cooler if he was like, you know, Naruto, I was afraid of fighting you at first, but I can't believe how weak you are. And he like launches an attack at him.
Yep, that's perfect. Yep.
And then Naruto on the ground, he's like getting back up weakly. He's like, not multi-shadow clone jutsu, like 1,000 clones pop out. And then Kiba gets completely overwhelmed by all the clones that rush at him. Naruto then has to get like bandaged up, and then the whole Hinata. Okay, so he's getting the ointment from Hinata, and she's like, Naruto-kun, you know? And then Naruto accepts it. He's like, thanks, Hinata. He's like, thanks, Hinata. Like, I really did need this. Naruto just looks at Hinata and he thanks her for this, completely blissfully ignorant. Obviously, if Kurama was there, he would have been like, she likes you, you dingus. But Naruto not having access to Kurama in this moment would just go through life and watching Rock Lee and Gaara's fight. Naruto can't help but like watch on and be like, they're so strong. He realizes just how weak he is, and Naruto has to contend with the fact that he's nothing without his old power. This would probably lead to a scene of Naruto like being like, I'm gonna train so hard over this month and I'll find out why I can't talk to Kurama. And then he would pretty much go on to try to see if Kakashi can train him, but when he sees that Kakashi would much rather train Sasuke, Naruto could get pissed. He's like, sure, don't train with the damn nine-tailed fox. I get it. It's not like anybody would want to train a demon. Naruto would just be sitting there.
That's so good. That's so good.
He passes him on to Ebisu, and then Ebisu's like, let me show you how to water walk. So then, you know, the whole stuff like with that, I wouldn't see everything happening like it does in the original. Oh wait, no, he knows. Wait, he knows how to water walk in this timeline, right?
Yeah, Ebisu would try it and he'd be like, yeah, I can do that. But he should struggle with it. Like he should try doing it and be like, he can walk, but it's rough. He's like, this was way easier when I had Kurama helping me.
That could be a sick scene. Like Naruto's done with the day of training and he sees like a thing of water and he's like, I guess I could train my chakra control for a bit. He's like about to walk, but he just sinks in. And then like you have like a dude with the white hair and like a toad. He's like peeking over the women's bathroom, and Naruto seeing this, he's like, what are you doing? You know, and then like he meets Jiraiya and stuff like that. This is where Naruto could go on to pretty much start doing the normal training that he has with Jiraiya. And like he could pretty much talk to him about everything that happened. He's like desperate to have somebody train him. So the same desperation that Naruto would have had in the original, the sexy jutsu and all that stuff still happens.
Yeah, especially with Kurama missing.
Naruto would actually get close to Jiraiya. Like he would really develop the same kind of relationship that they have in the original, with Naruto being a little different, but still like he looks up to Jiraiya and he finds him incredible. This is when Naruto's whole like interaction with Jiraiya would lead him to be like, oh, so he was a Sannin? And they have a conversation about Orochimaru. Jiraiya would probably say, so you fought Orochimaru. Ha! Surprised he didn't kill you, brat. This is when Naruto would say, shut up. He only got lucky. He sealed away the powers of the Nine Tails and I wasn't able to get even stronger. And Jiraiya's like, interesting. So you're Naruto, you're that Naruto. And then Naruto's like, yep, the one and only. And then Jiraiya's like, well, all he did was mess up your seal, lift up your shirt. This is when Naruto would be like, what? What do you mean lift up my shirt? And Jiraiya's like, just do it, kid.
I need an adult.
Five fingers light up, and he just undoes the seal. This is when Naruto, turning to the direction of Jiraiya, would be like, how did you do that? He can start hearing the voice of Kurama in his head once more, and it'd be at this point that Jiraiya would say to try to use the power now. Naruto would instantly access Kurama's strength, and he would stun Jiraiya, who's like, he's a prodigy. This is when he would start to pretty much start training Naruto on the summoning jutsu and being like, oh, like, let me help you control it. But funny enough, Naruto can do it so easy without his direction.
Yeah.
And Jiraiya would be like, I can see why you survived, Naruto, and why Orochimaru kept you alive.
This kid was struggling with water walking, but he's doing a fantastic job with the summoning jutsu. I wonder what happened.
Yeah, he'd be so like confused. He might like think that it's a bit weird how much better he got as soon as Kurama gained access to him, and he would just kind of be like, oh, he must be a prodigy, just like Minato, right? So this is when Naruto would pretty much tell Jiraiya, like after a long day of training, that yeah, he's pretty strong, but he realized one brutal thing during the 1 month training, that he was so much weaker compared to everyone else whenever he wasn't relying on his power. Jiraiya hearing this would be like, what do you mean your power? But he doesn't really say anything about it. He then goes on to tell Naruto that yeah, I mean, of course he is. If he's relying on the Nine Tails' power so much, he's never gonna get much stronger. Naruto would tell Jiraiya that yeah, he only has 2 paths. He could either get stronger himself, or he could gain full access to his hidden potential. So Jiraiya hearing this would go on to tell him that there might just be a way for him to do that.
I think what the way Naruto would say it is a little different. Like instead of saying it's like obviously evil, I think he'd say, you know, I'm so good at controlling the Nine Tails power. If only I could pull out more. I bet I could even control it. This would like kind of tease Jiraiya, and he'd be like, you know, that's actually something I wanted to try eventually. So why not? You know?
This is when we could have that one thing that we like had written in the script of like Jiraiya reveals that he has a key. He's like, huh, you want more access? Well, Naruto, if your training keeps progressing as well as it has, then maybe I could give you the key to access the Nine Tails a little bit more. We could loosen the seal a bit. Naruto hearing this would get excited, be like, yeah, I'm gonna get so strong and never again am I gonna be fearful of anyone else.
This man has the key. He has the key to our seal, Naruto.
Yeah, he would hear that in his mind, and as Naruto would hear that, he'd say, so what does that mean? Kurama, like hearing this in his inner monologue, would be like, finally.
My imprisonment is at last.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then Naruto would like continue training with Jiraiya, all the while Kurama's biding his time. He's like, this fool's gonna lead me straight to my awakening. Then we have like Kurama telling him to continue training with Jiraiya, that he'll teach him how to get stronger. So they continue training and stuff like that. And then eventually after like they would get closer and closer to the 1 month being over, Jiraiya, because they're like on the outskirts of the village, would pretty much end up telling Naruto that he's done so well and he's surpassed his expectations. Plus he trusts Naruto so much more. He would tell him that maybe he could actually give him the key. So this is when like Kurama in his head would be like, finally, yes, give it to him. Like if you guys have seen the Shrek 3 movie when Rumpelstiltskin is like, sign it, Shrek, sign it, Shrek.
Why are you so good at that? Why is your voice so accurate? Wait. Wait. Hold on. When did you have this hidden talent? I did not know you were Rumpelstiltskin
voice.
Xehther is actually Rumpelstiltskin confirmed. Okay.
I voiced him. Okay. So here's what happens. Naruto pretty much ends up getting the key from Jiraiya after like a little bit of like time of them being together.
I think Jiraiya would be like, I can loosen the seal a little bit. We can't let it all out, but you know, here's the key. I'll help loosen it.
And then as the dude is doing it, it's like loose enough without the seal, him not knowing that that's the case, that Kurama like pries it open fully. And as Jiraiya's like, how do you feel, Naruto? Naruto's like looking down. Jiraiya's like, Naruto? This is when suddenly Naruto would like have like a grin appear. He's like, finally. He looks at his hands. He's like, I'm free. And then like he kind of just like slashes at Jiraiya's neck, like kind of like in a scene where Naruto's looking down and he like looks like downcast, you know. Then he like switches up immediately, going on to try to kill Jiraiya as fast as possible. But in this moment, Jiraiya like barely dodges, having so much battle experience that he barely managed to avoid it. Like a red mark would be left there, but it's not like the skin tore, so his like neck isn't ripping, like a slight bit of blood is coming off. This is when Naruto would stare at Jiraiya, the eye of the Nine Tails staring back at him as he would say, and I was planning to give you a quick death, but it seems I'm gonna have to make this more painful. A creepy smile would appear, and that's where Weeb's gonna take over.
As Jiraiya is now shocked, filled with horror that he awakened the Nine Tails, he'd wonder how it's possible that he's taken over Naruto's body. When the seal's unleashed, the Nine Tails form should erupt out of Naruto. That's what Minato said. How is it possible his consciousness has been taken over? I thought I would be able to tell. As Jiraiya is now thinking fast as possible, Kurama would take no time, as Kurama himself would be freed at last. He'd been spending years integrating his chakra of Naruto's, making the process even faster than in the original, where we remember when Kurama and Naruto switched during Boruto in that train scene, where Kurama actually is able to speak through Naruto. He's mastered that skill due to the cooperation of Naruto at such a young age. And with that, he's taken over his body.
Dude, this is just like Yuji. This is just like Yuji and Sukuna.
It kind of is.
If you guys have any way of picturing it, it's literally that. It's Sukuna taking over Naruto.
That's perfect. So let's get into the fight. He slashed at Jiraiya, now threatening him and saying he meant to give him mercy. At this point, Jiraiya is thinking quickly as he backs up, trying to gain some distance. But Kurama with his full power is faster than the 4th Raikage. Even with Jiraiya's immense strength, there's barely anything he can do before Naruto appears, cutting through his shirt and causing him to bleed. As even a 4 tails Naruto was more than enough to cause Jiraiya to feel like he was on the brink of death. Naruto would now look smiling as he grips his hand, as a golden cloak of power would begin to erupt over his hand.
Ah, I can finally access my full power. Thanks, old man. Now then, how should I get rid of you?
And with Kurama now fully in control, he'd push Jiraiya, slamming him to the ground and toying with him, as Jiraiya would try his best to summon anything, to summon Mount Gamabunta, as he pulls out the scroll he had been using to train Naruto to summon Gamabunta, using a great majority of his chakra. As Gamabunta appears saying, that brat needs to ride me again or something? This is when he turns, sensing the Nine Tails chakra.
The Nine Tails? Huh?
As Jiraiya gets some distance, Gamabunta would slash down with his sword onto the golden figure. As we look up, as Naruto has accessed, Kurama has now entered into KCM mode, KCM 1. With that, he grabbed the sword with his bare hand.
Yes.
Yeah, he catches the blade with his bare hand, squeezing his fist as his golden claw would emerge, covering the blade and shattering it. He would smile as tails begin to grow from his back, 9 golden tails, as he launches into the air and throws a punch at Gamabunta.
Seems I've got enough now.
As he turned to Jiraiya and Gamabunta in the same shot, he'd say,
"Well, it's been nice knowing you, old man. Don't worry, your friend, the other Sannin, will be joining you soon."
He'd unlatch his jaw, as Naruto's jaw would disconnect from his body in a freaky horror-like stance. He'd begin to open his maw, as chakra began to pool into a black ball, red and blue energy pooling together as he creates a Bijudama, the tailed beast bomb. This point is when this Rasengan is the only option Jiraiya even has. He pulls out the strongest Rasengan he can possibly make and holds it in front of him, hoping that the centripetal force will be enough to deflect the blow, as Gamabunta blocks it with his sword. Well, tries to. The tailed beast bomb erupts in a blow of light. A beam strong enough to cause the horizon to turn white would appear, as Gamabunta would have a hole through his entire body, ripping through him and into Jiraiya, as Jiraiya gets blasted with the Rasengan, now causing his arm to spin, ripping his arm off of his body as he flies down to the ravine below. The blast would follow him into the ravine, as Jiraiya would seemingly disappear, the ravine exploding with light as the stones around would begin to crumple. As Kurama lands back to the ground, he'd take a few steps, feeling his speed, as he then blitzes off into the distance, now ready to plan his next move.
Bro, that was sick. Okay, so after this happens, what did we ended up saying that happened in the script? Because honestly, once we get to more of the later stuff, I kind of forgot.
I got you.
I know that Jiraiya had fought. Yeah. Oh, right. After okay, so once that tailed beast bomb had completely gone off, we would pretty much get a scene of Naruto overlooking the massive ravine, the one that Naruto would summon Gamabunta in the anime, and as he stares down, he tries to sense chakra there, but seeing nothing there, Naruto or Kurama would have a smirk on his face as he would think, now he only has to take care of that damn Kage and the rest of the village. As he would pretty much make his way towards the direction of the village once again, Naruto would think to himself, or Kurama, that it'd be kind of fun to toy with the participants of the Chunin exams, and if he gets a chance to spot Orochimaru there again, then it might be in his best interest to act as Naruto for a while. So, Kurama would begin to impersonate Naruto, acting as though they're the same person, and it'd be so easy for him to do it. He can easily manipulate his vocal cords to be Naruto as his voice, and it's so easy for him to act how Naruto did. He's been literally watching the kid from the moment he was born to now, so it's not exactly a hard act for him to follow. And all the while this would be happening, Jiraiya would have actually survived that massive blast. He, using his abilities with one arm, would pretty much form seals in order to reverse summon Gamabunta and himself, the like pretty much corpse-like body, back to I was gonna say Ryuji, but no,
Mount Miyaboku.
What's it called again, Weeb? I forgot.
Mount Miyaboku.
Mount Miyaboku. Once he would arrive there, Naruto with or Jiraiya with one arm blown off would land as the frog. Seeing Naruto would be like, Jiraiya boy, as they would heal him back as much as they possibly can. Jiraiya literally missing a limb, as he would go on to tell them everything that happened, feeling so responsible at Naruto's pretty much demise and the fact that he's the reason that Kurama was able to take over. He would think of himself as so much of a fool, but this is when Ma would go on to be like, don't question, don't call yourself that, Jiraiya boy. You couldn't have known this was gonna happen.
You still have one thing left.
Exactly.
That scroll on your side. You still have the key to the Nine Tails, don't you?
Jiraiya.
Oh, he does. Because it wasn't like fully open, so like the gate is kind of like.
No, Kurama ripped it open. He used it when.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but Jiraiya didn't give Naruto the seal. He just was using it, and as he was unlocking it, Kurama pushed his way out because it was looser than Jiraiya had imagined. So, anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, Jiraiya's got the seal.
Okay. So as this happens, Naruto or Jiraiya would be like, you're right. I need to make things right. I've got to save Naruto. So with this being the case, after Jiraiya would get a little better, he would realize that Naruto's most likely gonna do something to the village and he has to warn everyone. So he would decide to send a message to Hiruzen to inform him of what had happened. And he would send a toad with a message saying, be weary of Naruto. He is the Nine Tails. Hiruzen reading this letter would say, he's stating the obvious. Very well. As he would not be able to understand anything that's happening at all. He's like,
of course he's the Nine Tails in Turkey. What is he talking about? Maybe old age is getting to him.
Once this happens, we could pretty much end up getting a scene in which Jiraiya would actually go off in search of Tsunade because he won't stand much of a chance with one arm. So he, like Orochimaru would have in the original, would go over to her seeing if she could maybe make him a fake arm or restore his arm, well, a fake arm in all actuality. And he's trying to see how she can help him at all. Because Jiraiya, feels so responsible of everything that happened to Naruto. Meanwhile, Naruto would have returned back to the village and we would end up having the Naruto versus Neji fight happen once again.
Yeah, so Kurama versus Neji, he's not going to care nearly as much about the whole thing with fate or the Hyuga clan at all. Like, he's not going to try and change the way of the Hyuga clan. He's going to try and change the life of the Leaf Village, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, Kurama would be smug. With Neji saying he can deactivate all of his chakra points, Kurama would laugh, saying if he really thinks he can. As he then charges up his power, Neji would see the Nine Tails silhouette around Naruto. Then bring it. Neji would try his best using 32 trigram 64 palms as he tries to spin and attack Naruto, but Naruto would easily grab his hand out of thin air. You know that scene where Beerus grabs Vegeta's hand and twists it, like holding his hand with his fingers out? He would grab his fingers out of the air and twist his fist as Neji would feel a snapping motion in his arm. And just like that, with this grip, he picked Neji up, throwing him up into the air and then slamming him back into the ground. Neji would continue coughing as he keeps moving, with Kurama having now a frown on his face. I guess you need another one. As he then continues gripping Neji's hand, he'd throw him up into the air before seemingly teleporting, as he kicks Neji in the spine, giving him the Vegeta treatment as he gets sent crashing into the ground, now completely unconscious with his spine and his ribs shattered. Neji would be KO'd, with critical condition, as Kurama chuckles.
Bro, let me insert something. And after doing this, Naruto would stare at Neji's pitiful body as he's like, the humans are just as weak as always. He would then look into the stands, burning hatred in his eyes as he would stare at the villagers, thinking of how excited he is to destroy them all limb from limb.
Oh yeah, that's great. Keep going.
Kurama would then stare at Hiruzen as his eyes of hatred would be staring at him, and as Hiruzen would think, he is the Nine Tails. The dots would slowly start connecting. The gears in the clock would slightly start moving, but you would just hear smoke, it's just like they're like failing, and Hiruzen can't connect the dots.
Wow, Jiraiya's really trained him well. Look how much power of the Nine Tails he's unlocked. This other villages here are probably terrified of my Jinchuriki.
Yeah, like, but he's like, but how strange, he's so strong. But anyways, after this battle would take place, we would then get the Sasuke versus Gaara fight, which, bro, we didn't even discuss this when we were writing the script. There is no way that Sasuke was surviving that fight in the original. If Naruto didn't arrive, Sasuke's dead. So one of two things has to happen. Either Sasuke could awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan in a moment of like, he's about to die.
Nah, the One Tails is there.
Oh, we completely missed an opportunity. What do you think would happen with that?
So with Kurama recognizing the One Tails being Shukaku, he would see this as a perfect opportunity to get one of his siblings, even if it's his least favorite one, on his side, believing that it's their right to take over the planet and eradicate the human race, especially after the now atrocities they had committed against him and his siblings. Although he doesn't like Shukaku, and he's more than willing to fight him if necessary, he's willing to give him a chance. So when Sasuke is about to charge his Chidori through Gaara, I think this would be a good point for Kurama to step in, worried for his safety, since if he dies, it'll take several years for him to reform.
I like this better. Hear me out. So with Naruto like sensing Shukaku in the village, Naruto going up to Gaara prior to their match would use his Kurama voice and be like, "Been a while, Shukaku." As Shukaku hearing this, like in Gaara's mind would be like, "Kurama, is that you?"
Kurama.
And then they have like a reunion scene where like where like Gaara's like, "What did you call me?" Yeah, "What did you call me?" And Naruto's like, "Nothing." He like walks off. Shukaku and Gaara start talking things through, and he pretty much ends up telling him that he's going to be needing his help for something shortly. He would tell him that he's planning to do something in the village, and we could have Gaara helping Naruto
to destroy
in the fight with the Orochimaru.
Dude, that's sick. You got it.
He could be destroying the village of Shukaku, or he could like actively help him in the battle against Orochimaru, which would be sick. We would have like Gaara acting like a good guy, and like before as the match would happen, when Gaara would start freaking out, Naruto could pretty much like tell Shukaku now, as Shukaku like takes over, and as soon as the whole thing starts and the 4 trigram like seal would be created to keep everyone out, Naruto and Shukaku both speed blitz inside, and they're kind of like, Gaara's kind of like hiding.
They don't even have to speed blitz inside. Even with that seal, all they have to do is use a tail beast bomb. That thing is not stronger than any of the barrier jutsu we've seen in Shippuden. With 2-tailed beasts, they just nuke it. The thing shatters. They're way stronger than everyone here. There's no reason they have to even speed blitz. They can just one-shot the barrier.
That could happen. Bro, you know what would be perfect? They're pretty much there, and as Naruto looks at Shukaku and Sasuke standing there, Sasuke's like, "Naruto, don't interfere with my fight." But like a 9 tails like chakra arm would grab Sasuke's neck, choking him, like knocking him unconscious. He's like, "Shut up, brat." Then like he looks at Shukaku, and Shukaku's like, "So, a 9 tails, what's the plan?" Then like the seal gets formed, and Naruto's like, "You see those 2 up there? We're gonna kill them." This is when the 2 of them would smile towards each other, and they would create a tail beast bomb, blowing up the thing, as Naruto would turn to Gaara and say, "Help me save the Hokage." This is when once they get inside, the Sound Force would be like, "How did we let them in?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Form another one. It doesn't matter. They won't matter in the end of things." So they create another one, trying to like stop anyone else from going inside. And they're there with Hiruzen, be like, "Naruto, you're here to help, aren't you?" And Naruto looks at Hiruzen and is like, yeah, Hiruzen, like, "I'm gonna help you defeat that guy." He's still acting as Naruto.
Yeah, he calls him Hiruzen
like,
too. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. He's like, "Why?" He's like, why are you helping him?" And Naruto's like, "Because it's gonna be easier to take them both out once they've weakened each other."
There's one thing I've learned, Shukaku. These shinobi are tenacious and coy. If we want to defeat humanity, we'll have to use their own cowardly tactics against them.
That's fire. But yeah, then like they start the fight, and low-key, you got this, bro, because you know you're better at fights than me. But remember the whole like chakra of the 9 tails.
I got you. Okay. So, with Naruto and Gaara appearing, Orochimaru would be confused. With his understanding of the Sand Village being a part of his ploy for the Konoha Crush plan, he was going to use the one-tailed Jinchuriki, that being Gaara, to cause a scene and distract the village, so that way he could focus on the third Hokage in peace. But if he's here, and with... what? The nine-tailed Jinchuriki? What are they doing together? Orochimaru would be wary, wondering why they're both here. And as he looks at Naruto, he'd begin to realize that something strange is going on. But before Kurama can let him put the pieces together, he yelled to Hiruzen saying, "Let's take this guy out!" in his Naruto voice. Hiruzen would agree, saying to buy him some time, since, he can't do anything himself, as he then summons Enma, with him using the large, stick version of Enma to attack Orochimaru with his Izanagi blade. With the grass cutter sword. Anyway, Orochimaru pulled out his sword as Naruto would grab the blade, with Gaara using sand to distract Orochimaru. Kurama inside his head would speak to Shukaku, saying, "Don't kill him yet, we need to wait." And Shukaku would simply respond saying, "Don't boss me around," with the two of them bickering like usual, since they actively don't like each other, even if, they have that sibling rivalry. With that going on, Orochimaru would be overwhelmed. However, he's forced to use the Edo Tensei Jutsu. Although Kurama wasn't expecting this, he had realized after he had accessed the KCM form he had developed through Naruto's body to fight Jiraiya that he still wasn't at his full power, saying this was enough in their former fight. When Orochimaru is summoning the Edo Tensei, Hashirama Senju and Tobirama, along with one more, would be summoned. As the box is formed, he'd grin on his face as Hiruzen says, "We can't let that man be summoned. We can't allow that box to be opened no matter what. Naruto, prevent him from..." As Naruto would say, he's too strong!" as Orochimaru lashes at Kurama, who gets set batting away. Gaara would pretend to be injured as he gets hit by the sand from his own attack, with Hiruzen watching as the first Hokage uses wood style on them. Kurama would yell out in pain, actually feeling the wood style as it's trying to condense his chakra, with him now getting pissed as he remembers the face of the first Hokage, the man who caused him all of this torment all those years ago. "I have to hold out. I can't destroy him yet. Wait." As he waits, Hiruzen would then be forced to use the Reaper Death Seal, a last resort, not wanting two of these young shinobi to die, with him thinking they're there to back him up. He'd tell them that the will of fire is strong within them, obviously, as he then uses the Reaper Death Seal. Seeing that jutsu, Kurama would be even more wary, telling Gaara and Shukaku, "Avoid that jutsu."
Naruto would have been faking the battle in the sense that he's like, "Oh, I have to pretend that I'm being beat." So he's pretending he's a weak little Naruto. He's like, "He's overwhelming me." And Hiruzen's like, "I've got your back." So then he's trying to stop Minato from being summoned, but Naruto is like, "Stop him, Gaara." So Gaara shoots sand, creating a barrier between the two of them, and Hiruzen's a step too late to stop Minato from being summoned. This is when he would come out, and Naruto, smirking, knowing that his chakra is gone, would then hear Hiruzen, Hiruzen would go on to, he didn't know this at first, obviously, right? But then sensing it once he had come active, he'd say, "Wait, that's my chakra." As he pretty much ends up being "Shukaku, we need to kill him now. He's the only threat that stands between us and this world." So then, they work in tandem with Hiruzen, and all three of them, it takes the three of them, because Minato has that chakra, in order to stop him from even accessing it. So all three of them are literally putting in the work, trying to fight off against him. Meanwhile,
Do you want KCM Minato versus KCM Naruto?
No, no. He was about to, he's gonna activate it, but they're like, "We can't let him." So they rush him, right? And so right before Minato's about to use it, Naruto gets there, sucks his chakra out, and he's holding him, and then Hiruzen comes in and he he pretty much seals the fourth. This is when then they fight against the remainder Kage, all the while Hiruzen is the one facing off against Orochimaru, and as they both pretty much end up using their own jutsus to seal this, with Kurama obviously knowing some, they would use Shukaku Sand to hold them still long enough to defeat them, as Hashirama and Tobirama, I'm pretty sure that they weren't conscious of what was going on, or were they? They kind of knew what's up, right?
They were talking to Hiruzen, I believe, or they were not talking because they didn't have voice actors yet, maybe. But
They would probably be like, well done, young shinobi. You know what I mean? Because not knowing, or something like that.
I feel like Hashirama's the type of guy to know what's up, though.
Nah, low key, that's true. Like oh, you know what'd be so sick? The moment that Gaara would hold the both of them, like Naruto's like grabbing them and sealing them with his hands, like extending them. Hashirama's like, so it's you, Nine Tails, and Naruto smirks. Like Hiruzen's too busy, like trying to like tug of war with Orochimaru's soul. As this is happening, Naruto would smirk. He's like, finally. Then he speed blitzes to the direction of Hiruzen, who's like, help me, Naruto, we need to take his soul out. Naruto would stab Orochimaru, as Orochimaru in this moment would have his entire soul ripped out of him, and Hiruzen like standing there, he's like, thank you, Naruto. He has like a sword piercing him. Yeah, no, he has a sword piercing him, and then Naruto with his claws on some Sukuna timing straight up cuts his head off. Like he's like, you're such a fool. Then like he like smiles as he's like, that felt so good. That damn Hokage has had me in bondage for years. Then we have like a scene where he and Gaara look over the village, and like Kakashi and Might Guy are like looking at them, but then the two of them disappear in a gust of sand, and Naruto and Gaara are gone from the equation.
Hey, that's pretty good.
What do you think, bro?
That's pretty good. So
that was kind of fire, right?
Yeah, I like that. Although I really would like if Hiruzen knew what happened, like at that little last part. I know like it's sick if he like cuts his neck, but if Hiruzen was dying from the Reaper Death Soul, because he was gonna die anyway, because he used all of his chakra to seal Orochimaru, and then his soul was traded. If he watched, and as Kurama looked up with his like the Nine Tails eyes and said, "You fool, I'm finally free to destroy your precious little village," Hiruzen would just like have his last emotion would be regret. And he's like, no, and then he won't be able to do anything as his vision just is gone because his soul gets ripped out.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's perfect. That could happen. Here's the next question. Right after this, we don't have any script, so we pretty much just got to go off what we feel in our guts. All right. Does Naruto like destroy the village, or does he not?
I feel like.
What do you think?
He kind of should, right? Like the whole idea was that he was going to after like regaining his full power, and he has Shukaku who's willing to cooperate with him right now, and like unless Shukaku's trying to fight him, but I don't think he would after Kurama talks to him about his plan to take over and take out humanity.
You know what would be so sick?
What
if like Naruto overlooking the village, like staring at Kakashi and Might Guy?
Yeah,
like he pretty much ends up like turning to Shukaku, and they both start charging up like these massive tailed beast bombs.
Yeah, because Kakashi doesn't have Kamui.
Exactly. At this point, we could maybe get like a scene where like the tailed beast bombs rip through the village, and nearly kill everyone, with the exception of Might Guy and Kakashi, because Might Guy seeing this happen awakened like the seventh gate, and like gate of joy or whatever, or life or whatever. He like rushes with Kakashi out of the way.
What about
dodging
Sasuke?
the explosion? Sasuke's dead, bro.
What? Oh, come on.
Sasuke's dead.
Oh, okay. So, that's kind of sick actually. If Sasuke survives, then Orochimaru has a chance to come back because of the curse mark. Because Sound 4's dead because they offed them, like they're cooked. They were caught in that Bijudama.
But there's still more people with the curse mark out there. Yeah, so Orochimaru can't come back. His soul got ripped out.
That's true.
That mean he's
sealed. That's true. I mean,
so regardless,
we don't know actually how it works because he was able to come back from a shard of his chakra. So I don't know.
Here's what I'm thinking. I get what you're saying, but his soul.
Yeah, we can keep him dead.
His soul's gone.
Yeah, we can keep him dead, and then Itachi has now a grudge against Naruto and / Kurama. And because he destroyed the village and killed his little brother. So Itachi has no reason to not actually work for the Akatsuki now. Like he's fully on demon time. So we have like a stronger Itachi hunting down the One Tails and the Nine Tails. You know?
He would hate Kurama. Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Right now, here's what I'm cooking up. Hear me out. So with Might Guy seeing those two there, Might Guy connecting the dots would say, so you were the Nine Tails. No, say it yourself. Be like, you were the Nine Tails. Do your Might Guy voice.
So, he was the Nine Tails after all. Hey, Kakashi. Glad we got another lickety-split. Right, Kakashi? Shame about your students.
I don't know about the scene being like that, but Bro, like it'd be like sad. Might Guy and Kakashi would be watching on like the rubble.
Kakashi, your student was actually the Ninetales, wasn't he? How could we let this happen? Lee, Neji, and whoever that third girl on my team was. I've let you down.
Kakashi would be like, Sasuke, Sakura, I can't believe. He'd fall to his knees. I've let another team of mine go. He'd think of Rin and Obito and Minato. I'm a failure.
Despair.
Yeah.
Despair's overcoming him, and he could potentially like have his Mangekyo Sharingan like activate here out of like the despair. Obviously he's unlocked it before, but like right here he starts using it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
So what takes place here is that he like stands up and he's like, you demon. He's like, I should have seen the sign sooner. He like blames himself. And as Might Guy watches on, the two of them would try to face off against Shukaku and Naruto.
You think
Fortunately for them, facing off against Shukaku would be facing off against Shukaku would be much easier. And the sickest part is they're fighting in this crater where the Leaf Village used to be at, because it's gone.
Yeah, Shukaku gets destroyed by them.
It's wiped off the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he die?
Would get obliterated by them.
If he dies, the Akatsuki's plan is ruined. Like, low-key ruined.
No. So here's what I'm thinking happens. They're not necessarily trying to kill him because Gaara's being taken over, so they know that. And Might Guy's like, let's take them down. And Kakashi's like, don't be too rough with them. Naruto's still in there. And like Might Guy's like, and the boy too. So they're both like trying to take them out without killing them. So we get like a really interesting 2v2 fight.
Yeah, meanwhile, inside of Kurama.
Oh, we can cut back to that scene.
Yeah, so we are back at the beginning of our story, where we see Naruto trapped inside the red iron gate, punching his fist into it as he falls and sinks to his knees in this lukewarm water within the seal. Damn it! How is this even possible? We were a team! That damn fox, he betrayed me! And just like Kurama could experience everything through Naruto is experiencing everything through Kurama.
Bro, that is tough. Naruto's watching Kakashi and Might Guy. He's like, win! He's like, beat him, you know? And then like he's banging on the gates, like trying to escape. But Kurama's like, shut up, you know, like shut up, brat. And with that happening, we get like the 2v2 fight. They would be doing their absolute best to like take them out without killing him, but eventually it gets to the point where Naruto and like Shukaku get overwhelmed. Like, bro, cause you know it would be so sick if we could have Might Guy sacrifice himself, because Naruto would be too strong in his KCM form maybe to fight on seven gate guy. Do you think that's the truth or no?
I'm gonna be real. Full power Kurama.
He doesn't have Sage mode.
Full power Kurama, who has retrieved Minato's half after the war arc. Like, this is basically post-war arc Naruto at this point. As a child, without Sage's 6-pass boost, he was strong enough in KCM2. He's basically at KCM2 level right now to fight and like almost pretty much be on par with Ten Tails Madara. So I don't see 7 Gates Guy being enough to finish the job or even like really be as effective. The difference in strength between 7 Gates Guy, who's like Kisame level, and 8th Gates Guy, who fodderizes Ten Tails Madara, is insane. So I don't see, unless he sacrifices himself, like for the sacrifice play, and tries to take them out.
That's what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
He's gonna try to sacrifice himself in order to take them down and give Kakashi an opportunity to like reseal them. So that's their entire plan. Yeah. Like their whole goal is to reseal Naruto and Gaara.
Yeah.
And like he like does it, and Kakashi like looks at him. He's like, "You didn't, Guy." And Guy's like, "I have to, Kakashi. For the time of youth is over." And like he looks at him and he's like, "Come on, Kakashi. Let's have one more battle, you and I."
Yeah.
And then like they rush in and we get just this crazy clash where Might Guy is fodderizing them. Like Shukaku's completely unconscious. He gets knocked out with the first hit, right? Then Naruto starts getting absolutely beat. Like Kurama starts getting like clobbered by Might Guy, who's like warping around. This would ultimately be such a perfect part where Naruto could kind of like fake being beaten. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like he pretends that like he beat him like conscious or something like that. Or what do you think?
I don't know. If Kakashi, like, even if he has Kamui awakened, with like his stamina at this point in the series, without Hashirama cells, I know that's kind of BS. Without Hashirama cells, like against Deidara, he could only use Kamui like one time or like 2 times, right? Like he used it once and was essentially bedridden to the point where Yamato had to take over his team. So
yeah, but right here he's not trying to use Kamui though.
Yeah, I mean,
he's trying to seal them.
The thing is, like, I don't know. Neither of them are like known for sealing jutsu. Like if Yamato or like or Jiraiya shows up somehow, but he's with Tsunade trying to get his arm fixed. He's in the long haul.
The thing is, Kakashi is like a copy ninja. He was trained by Minato. Like that's why I believe that Kakashi does have the capabilities to seal or like try to do something to Naruto. Do you get what I mean?
If I would agree, like if we saw more feats of him actually trying to seal the Jinchuriki during the war arc, because we've seen the people with Sharingan, like Sharingan wielders and Uchiha before, the tailed beasts are terrified of them because of their ability to seal them with the Sharingan alone. But like, I respectfully have never seen Kakashi ever use his Sharingan like that in the series. So it's hard for me to believe he can actually do that. You know,
what should we have happen here? Because Kakashi and Guy are the only survivors.
I kind of want Kakashi to die and Guy to survive. Or the opposite, where Kakashi survives and Guy uses 8 gates to take out either Shukaku and actually kill him, putting the Akatsuki's plans on hold until he can revive, which also buys Kurama more time. Also, that would
actually be perfect. That would kill Guy, and we could have like a scene where Naruto like runs away, like he barely manages to escape, and he's like, that damn, like a shinobi, like they nearly managed to seal me once more. And he like narrowly gets out of that situation. Yeah, I like that. What happens next? Because obviously we know that Jiraiya at this point is getting healed. So
here's the players.
There's no Orochimaru.
There is none. So this is the key players right now. The entire Leaf Village is gone minus Kakashi. Kakashi survived. Gaara and Shukaku are both dead, so they're gone, meaning there's only 8-tailed beasts in circulation right now. Naruto and Kurama has escaped with his life, but severely weakened after being attacked by Guy and Kakashi, with him realizing he still needs to get stronger due to this younger body, so he hasn't reached the peak of his potential and power yet.
You know what could be so crazy?
What?
When the other villages find out about the fact that the entire Leaf Village was blown out of existence onto Meliodas type timing, like it's gone.
I could see them putting Kurama in the bingo book, like putting Naruto in the bingo book.
They could all low-key try to capture him. This is a time where they're all like, they're scared. They're scared of Naruto and what he could do.
Yeah.
And not only are they scared, but they want his power on their village. They're like, this is our chance to defeat this thing from becoming a threat and getting the 9 tails. So like the entire world is now pretty much after Kurama, after what he had just done to the village, and even the Akatsuki wants him.
Oh yeah.
Specifically Itachi. And then also we have Jiraiya, who's over there wanting to save Naruto, and we could maybe have Kakashi and Jiraiya both kind of like train together and like want to save Naruto.
I agree. I think Kakashi and Jiraiya becoming like a pair, kind of like to parallel Itachi and Kisame as a pair of the Akatsuki, would be really cool. So we could have like the survivors of the Leaf Village. Also, I think it would make sense for Danzo to survive, unfortunately, because he's the type of guy to not be in the village, because he worked with Orochimaru for the Konoha Crush plan, so he could take over as the Kage after. He comes back from his little safe house and finds the entire village in like as a crater. He'd be like, that Orochimaru took it too far. Yeah. So I think Danzo actually survives here too. So Danzo and Yamato might still be in play, and some of the Anbu, most of them would be gone because they were protecting the village originally. But pretty much the some of the root, Danzo, Kakashi, and Jiraiya are all that remain from the Leaf Village. The remainder
and the people that were on missions, there could be like some people that like didn't die. So it's not like Kakashi's the only survivor, but like
all of Konoha 11 were there. Yeah, because the Chunin exams were the perfect place. Like most of our main cast were in the village for the Chunin exams. Mm-hmm. So
I'm talking about like fodder shinobi, like
fodder, like extra, random people, like random fodder. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we can have like a small strike force.
Exactly.
I got you. Okay. So aside from them, I also I put them
Dude,
together.
it'd be so sick
Yeah.
if Kakashi like passes out because of chakra exertion and he's like standing like near a crater where the village used to be, and then like Danzo and a bunch of ninjas like are there and they spot him. They're like, Kakashi, and he like he heals him to find out what happened.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then all the while this is happening, they like pretty much are super vulnerable, so they make like a task force to stop Naruto and like try to salvage anything that they have left.
Yeah. I think that would be the goal. We have Yamato to help rebuild, but Yamato could help rebuild the empty village. Yeah. So this is when now we're going to hit the time skip early because there is no Tsunade retrieval arc and there's no Sasuke retrieval arc. So we pretty much skip at this point to Shippuden or before then. Kurama's waiting for him to grow older so he can access more power. He basically is training for these 3 years to be able to master his abilities since he is new to having a human form. I think Kurama would access KCM2 and have access over it and full control. The other thing,
he can't get KCM2 because remember KCM2 was only created with Sage Mode.
But Kurama was shown to be able to access and use nature energy though.
Oh really?
Remember when he helps Naruto with using nature energy? So he could actually use Sage Mode. Yeah, he uses it during the final Valley fight.
KCM2.
So he could actually create KCM2 exactly. Yeah.
You know it'd be so sick if he also like learned other jutsus. Like,
well, he has the Shadow Clone
like,
jutsu.
The world's coming after him.
Yeah.
And he's had like years of seeing people's jutsus. Maybe we could give him like the Uzumaki change, or like we could make him strong. We could build him as a character.
That'd be pretty sick.
What I mean? Give him like new tools. Right?
I think he could use Shadow Clone jutsu. I think Shadow Clone jutsu because he watched Naruto learn it and he watched him using it for a while from inside him and helped him manipulate his chakra when Naruto was still in control.
That'd be perfect.
So I think giving him Shadow Clones already is huge. Exactly. Another goal of his during that time is to actually save his like brethren. So like he wants to take out humanity, but also like release the other Jinchuriki. So like kill the Jinchuriki and release the other kill beasts.
But he can't do it because if he goes to other villages, they're all like on a super high alert and they're like expecting him. And he can't just go in there and nuke it.
Even if he doesn't go after Tsunade, I still think Itachi and Kisame would try to hunt him down. Like they'd be looking for him, So it's possible we get that fight like at the very start of Shippuden. So Shippuden starts with like an adult Kurama with like small shrunken clothes. He doesn't have any money, so he doesn't really care about his appearance as much. So he'd be a lot more like
he could have like a cloak. He could have like a cloak because he would steal stuff.
Bro took Karuzen's third Hokage cloak.
Oh, bro. No. Literally, because Kurama, there's no way like we're not gonna give Kurama drip. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I like that.
He has to have it on him. So he's gonna like steal like a cloak. He's gonna be drippy, And also we forgot to mention how much stronger does Jiraiya get over this time? He has 3 years
Sage mode
where he's not focusing on Naruto. Exactly.
I'd say perfect Sage mode.
Rasen Shuriken? Question mark?
That's a good question. With Kakashi, they're helping him train. Like the two of them are both pretty genius. Neither of them could do the Rasen Shuriken on their own. Like it took Naruto with his multi-shadow clones to actually train it, but with the amount of shadow clones he used, it was about 3 years. I would guess that he is able to create like the basic Rasen Shuriken by the end of the 3 years. So I would say
he has
yes.
3 years of working on it. One more question: does Tsunade join this task force, or does she only help Jiraiya get this like fake arm? I don't think she would, bro. So I just don't. The only reason she went with the village was because of Naruto, and now Naruto's gone.
She just stays a gambler. I don't know. That's true. I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly,
thematically speaking, it'd be cool.
It'd be
but
so
it just
cool.
makes no sense.
Oh, okay. There's no healer for the Leaf Shinobi Task Force. Okay. Yeah. I guess we just have gambling addict Tsunade until the end of her days. So. Once again,
what would be
dark
so
timeline.
Sick?
What?
We'd have like Danzo and Jiraiya both battling for like leadership
over the
like
task
Jiraiya
force,
doesn't fully agree with Danzo's like methods, and Danzo thinks that Jiraiya's he's like a daydreaming fool.
He's a remnant of that damn third Hokage, the one who got them into this
exactly.
Mess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
So Kakashi would probably agree with more with Master Jiraiya, and it'd be kind of like a fight for power where Danzo's like pulling his own strings.
Yeah.
And there's kind of like conflict within the team itself.
I have another idea too. I think the Sand Village would combine with the remaining Leaf Village because the Hokage and a lot of their soldiers, like their shinobi, were taken out from the attack of the tailed beasts when the tailed beast struck. Because a ton of the village from the Sand Village was visiting for the Chunin exams. So both the Sand and the Leaf Village were basically crippled. So like half of their forces were gone. So I could see them both wanting to get the Jinchuriki back. I could see Tamari having survived, and she'd be like the new sand, like Kazekage. That'd be kind of sick.
Yeah, that's perfect. Then we could have like Danzo be like an advisor who thinks that he's the Kage, but he's not.
Yeah.
He kind of like tries to push like Tamara, but she's like, no, like we're doing it my way. And
so we'd have like a power struggle in the Sand Village. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's a really cool role. So the Sand Village has like become the base of operations for the remaining survivors of the Leaf Village, as they both try to hunt down the Nine Tails and the One Tails, with the One Tails supposedly recovering and beginning to regenerate at some point in the future. They don't know when it's going to come back, but they know it will appear again because they can't kill a tail beast. So they're working together for now for like mutual interest. I think the Cloud Village would be the strongest village at this point. So they have a ton of influence. It's possible they would actually take over the Land of Fire. So I know this is getting more into political stuff. So if you guys are bored, I'm sorry. But one of the reasons like these different countries have the shinobi villages is to protect themselves from other countries. So like the hidden villages aren't the only location. There's like these kingdoms and these feudal lords who own them. So the feudal lords are actually like the lord of these country. With the Land of Fire's feudal lord now having no like military force for shinobi, they're cooked. So the land, like the Cloud Village, is in a poised position to start another shinobi war and take over the Land of Fire. I'm just saying, because they were already hostile with the Hyuga clan before they were wiped out. So,
oh, dude, absolutely, bro. The Hyuga clan and the Uchiha clan are gone, bro. Because Itachi's not gonna take any time to like make more babies, and the Hyuga clan added that stupid seal on their forehead, so it's not like they could have other Hyuga clan members. They're cooked, bro. Two of the most powerful clans are gone.
Yeah, they're wiped out.
This whole like thing that we're creating is interesting because Kurama's all by himself, like trying to serve his own interests, and he has to now deal with every village, the Shinobi Strikes Force, Itachi, and the entirety of the Akatsuki. Who should be the first opponent? Because now we have to get into, I think the first person he has to face. No. Because I don't know if they're gonna go after him. It has to be like Itachi and Kisame, bro. Remember you said after?
Yeah. I do think they should start with it. Yeah.
How do you think that fight would go? Because it's Naruto by himself. Like he could genuinely lose right here, bro. Because if Itachi's like taking things seriously, like Naruto. Like Naruto could be straight up cooked. You know what I mean?
It depends because Itachi is weaker from his illness.
Here's what we could do. No, I know, but here's what we can do. Because, I mean, like KCM2 Naruto, yes, but like, dude, Itachi has such a powerful genjutsu, and you did mention that that's like the one thing that he's afraid of.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
Kurama doesn't operate as a Jinchuriki. He is just taking the host, so he doesn't have a partner to break him out. Naruto was literally trying to break out of the cage the entire time, and we would just see like the consciousness of Naruto just like eventually like fading and fading and fading. Like Naruto, like he's growing older in there.
Yeah.
And like his hair's long, he's like a beard, or not a beard, but like a little like little scruffy hair in his face because he's like a teenager now.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Naruto would have been suffering that whole time, seeing the countless people that Kurama killed.
Bro is Megumin. Bro is Itadori. He's Yuji and Megumin right now, for real.
Bro literally got, what if Naruto was betrayed and trapped in the time chamber for 1,000 years and was the son of Sasuke and was the son of Madara and was Naruto's grandchild and was Tsunade's
okay, calm
boyfriend.
down.
All at the same time.
Whoa. What was that last part? Huh? What did you say?
What?
Yeah, I heard that. Anyway, let's get going. So Kurama is currently now on the run. He is getting stronger. He's aging. He's training. He's learned some jutsu. Itachi and Kisame have been hunting this bastard down for killing his younger brother, and also because they're the Akatsuki members. At this point,
wait,
Itachi.
pause. I didn't tell you what could happen. Wait. Give me a second. So you know how I said Itachi could beat him? We could have like the Cloud Village or other villages like come in, and like this leads to like a 1v1v1 situation where Naruto could escape or something like that. But
we could do something like that. The other thing I could foresee is Pain being the one sent after him instead of Itachi. Like, I don't know if Itachi would even obey it, but considering how the order of the night, like the Jinchuriki were originally sent after, I think it would make sense for Pain to also attack him. So we could either have the Akatsuki jump him, or we could do like a three-way battle like that. I think it shouldn't be the Sand and Konoha group if they attack. It should be like the Stone Village and the Cloud Village like descend on him, and then the Akatsuki show up as well.
Exactly.
That's how I would do it. So you have like the Stone.
Everyone is there fighting for him. Kind of like a war arc.
Yeah. So this would be like the fourth grade. Like I said, with the Land of Fire being taken over by the Cloud Village is currently the strongest nation. Like the Land of Lightning is currently the most powerful nation in the world. With them gaining more power and influence, it's only a matter of time before they send Killer Bee, the Eight-Tails Jinchuriki, and their Raikage after the Nine-Tailed Fox to take out the Nine-Tails and take him so the Akatsuki can't get him. Because the other villages, even though they're on high alert, they'd be aware that the Akatsuki is taking the tailed beasts more. Because
they could even have Fu. Because she never gets taken.
Yeah, because they're on high guard due to Kurama.
Take them out of order.
Yeah. Well, that was a whole plot.
Oh, and that.
Yeah. So I think the Akatsuki would be like kind of screwed here because the villages are on such high alert, which Obito and Zetsu were not trying to have happen. So at this point, like they're trying to decide what their next step should be. With the Cloud Village now this powerful, the Stone Village would also be forced to attack them, being the only other village that's powerful enough, really. So maybe they ally with the Mist Village, and like they try to offer the sand and leaf remnants, like also to join their alliance. So we'd have like a Shinobi alliance versus the Cloud Village, which honestly would be kind of heat. Okay, so we have like Darui and the other.
That'd be so freaking tough.
Yeah,
because what I can see happening is like Naruto would pretty much be like eating something like on some like he's like at a bar or something, like or maybe he's like wandering from like place to place.
You know, Natsu from the
like
time skip.
Two Akatsuki cloaks. Yeah, like that's kind of how Naruto looks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you keep going.
And then as he's like wandering, he's like traveling, he sees two black robes coming into view, Itachi and Kisame. Naruto isn't feeling fearful because he's like, I can take anyone out. Like if anyone gets in my way, I'll just kill them, right? He's like been trying to live in solitude and getting stronger like gradually because he knows that one day he'll have to fight. Then like Itachi would pretty much end up getting serious and just starting everything off the bat with like a massive like fire attack, but Kurama dodges easily, and then like his hands, like chakra arms, extend and like are trying to like, crush Itachi, but Kisame blocks it with Samehada, absorbing the chakra. Yeah. And he's like happy. Okay. He's like, so much chakra.
Or Samehada betrays him.
Well, what do you mean? So
Samehada, so Samehada really loved B's chakra. When he fought B and Gyuki, the Eight-Tails, the sword literally betrayed Kisame because his chakra was insufficient for it, and he preferred B's chakra. So I could see this happening where he takes Naruto's like Kurama's arms from when he like attacked Kisame, like Itachi with his chakra arms, and then Kisame would pull out Samehada and be like, I'm so much chakra, as he turns into like his zero-tailed beast form that he talks about, the tailless tailed beast. And as he's doing, like he's trying to absorb Samehada would begin wriggling out of its grip and like lunging toward Kurama. I could see Kurama being disgusted by it, like for not even betraying Kisame, but just for begging for more chakra from him. So I could see him like grabbing the sword. Either like, do you think he'd try and destroy Samehada, or would he actually use it? What do you think?
I think he would try to destroy Samehada. He's not a sword kenjutsu fighter, so I think he would like low-key destroy it in Kisame's face.
Yeah, I think he'd like pick out and be like, you were hungry. How about you feast on this? And just like engulfing it with a tailed beast bomb, just deleting Samehada. At this point, when the smoke clears, Susanoo.
He could possibly... Yes. And then Naruto would shoot like a tailed beast bomb at it, but his Yatamir would like barely be able to like block it.
Yep.
And then, but like his entire Susanoo thing would be gone. And Naruto's like rushing at him, like on all fours, like about to kill him. But Itachi would end up actually covering him. We could see like a Amaterasu come out, and like Naruto just like dumps the chakra, right? Like he just causes it to like jump off of him.
Oh my gosh. Amaterasu, I forgot. I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot Amaterasu was here. Oh, does Kurama actually think about using that though? Because that was Naruto's idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Kurama's not stupid. You know what I mean? I really don't think he's gonna get killed by one Amaterasu blast. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I'm just saying, like, part of Naruto's fighting style is his creativity, and Kurama, as we've seen in the story, has kind of stumped that creativity and instead has been using pure brute strength. So I almost want him to like lose, like, or almost lose here. Like the Amaterasu starts burning his leg or his arm or something, and he like tries to deactivate it and is getting stuck. So I don't want to say take one of his arms, but like, I don't know. Oh, he could be out healing it. I'd have him out heal the Amaterasu. That's how I would do it. It's like his chakra. Hear me out. He's covered in the chakra cloak. He's not physically like getting damaged, but he feels his chakra getting burned away. So he has like a timer now. So now he's on a time crunch. Like he only has a certain amount of time to actually fight them before he has to escape.
I don't know, bro. That doesn't make as much sense as like he would kind of just like shake off the chakra. Because remember, when he fights, he has like that large amount of chakra on him. The other way just doesn't make sense. But what could make sense though is that he gets caught in a genjutsu. Like as he throws that off of himself, he like looks at him and he starts charging up a massive tail beast bomb. And Kisame and Itachi are both like wary of it. And like Kisame's just like, do it. Then like Itachi like catches him in a massive like genjutsu Tsukiyomi.
Yeah, infant Tsukiyomi.
And Naruto starts like
Tsukiyomi.
This is when all of a sudden Itachi's like, I'm finally gonna kill you. And like he's like, for what you did to Sasuke.
He could use Amaterasu and think he's dead.
No. No. That's not what I want to have happen. He's like getting closer and he's about to, but then boom, two lariat like strikes would come and hit at the direction of Naruto, like snapping him back into reality. All the while Naruto was watching as like so many people just arrived to the battlefield. And Naruto's now on the ground. He's like, what the hell? He sees like all these major players arrive and Naruto's just like freaking out. He's like, what? Mind you, did you want the Leaf Village to be a part of this as well or no?
Not at this point. I think they shouldn't be involved because at this point it's
like
the stone.
The last fight.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so with Naruto seeing all this happen and like the Akatsuki's like involved and like Itachi's there, Itachi like grits his teeth knowing that like fighting this battle specifically would be a death sentence. But he wants to like get revenge for Sasuke, so he doesn't care what it costs him at this point. And Kisame's like, Itachi, we've got to go. But he sees that Itachi's not willing to leave. So either Kisame and Itachi both get killed in this incident, with like Itachi nearly killing Naruto, or Kisame escapes. I just don't see any in between scenarios happening here.
Yeah, honestly, I'm with you on it. I think Itachi or Kisame, someone's is gone here, especially with like the Eight Tails showing up as well. I think like the Raikage and Eight Tails is more than enough to give a challenge to Kurama, and I think he's not gonna want to fight Gyuki at first. Like Kurama is hostile toward the other tail beast, but at this point, after Shukaku and him had cooperated like begrudgingly, he knows like that his siblings will agree with him if he can convince them, and he's learned how to manipulate people from his experience in manipulating Naruto. So I could see him trying to manipulate Gyuki. So Kurama would be more like, yeah, I think he'd be loyal to B. Yeah, B would be like, yo, you're tripping. My boy Gyuki and me, we not going on you. We're gonna fight you and take the Nine Tails for, something like that. He'd do some cool rap.
Because he's gonna take the Nine Tails and he's gonna beat you. And
then Kurama will get pissed off and be like, you let this human speak for you? How idiotic. And then Gyuki would be like, sorry, Nine Tails. Turns out you know?
This is when the villages could like fight against the Akatsuki because they're opposing them. Then we could have like a backstabbing moment where like the Stone Village tries to backstab the Cloud. So as Naruto's in the middle of this and was about to be fully defeated, the dude like manages to escape, and we just have like a battle between the Cloud and Stone Village happening, like with the Cloud Village ultimately winning and like the Tsuchikage like dying or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you got it, man. Keep going. You're doing great.
Okay.
Yeah.
After this happens, I could see Naruto like running away like a bit far from the battlefield, and this would be where we would get that final fight between Naruto and the resistance squad that would have pretty much been formed with Kakashi and all of them. We would see Kakashi and Jiraiya there, as well as a multitude of different villagers like Sand Shinobi and stuff like that, and Naruto would just think, damn scum, they don't ever stop coming, do they? And this is where we could get like a really sick scene where we would get like a fight between Kakashi, who bro, would Kakashi have Sage Mode?
I think Kakashi might have Sage Mode. I don't know if he has Toad Sage Mode or like a dog Sage Mode or something, but considering he's trained 3 years with Jiraiya, I'd say he learns imperfect Sage Mode, so he has to have like a dog on his shoulder or something, while Jiraiya has perfect Sage Mode, and Kakashi would also have better control over his Mangekyo with the Kamui.
Yup, because this time he wasn't just training, he was training with the goal of saving his student and like stopping Kurama, because he knows that that's not Naruto.
Yeah.
But there's also like an air, he wants to be strong enough to not have to kill Naruto, because he knows if it comes down to it, he has to do what he has to do.
Yeah. I think Kakashi's he's gonna pull up. Now the question is, does Obito pull up here, or do we have the Akatsuki chilling in the background as much as possible?
Nah, I say we have them chilling in the background. Here's what I'm thinking. Do we have like Naruto somehow come out on top in this battle because of the strength that he has and like all the secret little tricks that he could
can also use, I think what we could do here is we could have him like use his tricks, that being the Shadow Clone Jutsu, to like make a replacement of himself and make it appear like he was defeated. So he could leave a Shadow Clone and escape, like not revealing his hand quite yet.
That could be like his triumph, and he's like thanks Naruto, you've taught me to fight like this, like
you've taught me to fight like a shinobi. Yeah,
to be unpredictable. So once he like defeats them, then we could kind of have like a moment where Obito comes in, and then like Naruto's little train would just completely end. He's like, what?
He can't there's nothing he can do to Obito, unfortunately.
There's nothing he could do, because it's not like it's just Obito, dog. Now
he has
it's
pain.
Sasori, Pain, Hidan, Kakazu.
I think this is where Kurama would get like, Kurama would survive a little bit longer. He might take out another village, because part of his goal was getting the other tail beasts. The other part was taking out the other villages. I say the Mist Village is gone. Sorry, Mizukage, you're gone. I think the Mist Village gets eradicated. He might go for the Stone Village once they've been weakened from his attack with the Cloud Village. He'd leave the Cloud Village alone because he knows that they have the Eight Tails. But I think he'd recover a couple of the other ones that the Akatsuki hadn't gone yet. Like the Six Tails, I think, was the guy with the bubbles. Like Chojiro, I think.
It'd be so sick, bro. I just thought of something. So as Naruto had just escaped, he's like, how could this have happened to me? Then out of nowhere, like this attack comes right at him, and he recognizes it to be Jiraiya. He's like, you're alive? And then like Jiraiya's like, the one and only. He's been like in the shadows the whole time. So then they start their fight, and Naruto's like, I should have finished you when I had the chance. My voice is leaving me at this moment. Doing the Kurama voice is killing me, dude. But anyways, Naruto starts to fight Jiraiya in this moment, and we have like an all-out fight where Kakashi comes in out of nowhere and starts backing Jiraiya. They start pushing him to a corner, and Naruto's pissed. He's like, how dare you leave a scratch on me, like you're attacking me when I'm weak. And Jiraiya's like, didn't you know that's what a shinobi does? He's like, I taught Naruto that. And like as they're fighting, the battle gets worse and worse and worse for Naruto's favor, with him like at first having the upper hand against 1v1 Jiraiya. But once Kakashi added to the mix and Danzo ended up arriving and like the backup ninjas and all that stuff, it became far more difficult for Naruto. So even though multiple of his clones were able to destroy the fodder people, they eventually slowly started overwhelming him. And this is when Kurama, even though he wasn't like fully losing, would come up with an idea of like, this is how I'll beat them. Then he creates like a fake clone of himself, right? So real that it tricks them. And as they think that they had defeated Naruto and they like placed the seal on him to like once try to stop him and get Naruto back, this is when we could actually end up having like a scene where Naruto's like, I fooled ya. Boom, like a massive tailed beast bomb comes at them, and Kakashi, using all of the like pretty much everything he had at his disposal now, like Kamui's the whole thing away. Massive explosion in the Kamui realm. All the while Naruto's like, good, but what are you gonna do about the second one? And then even like a different one comes at them and just eradicates Kakashi. Then Jiraiya watches on, he's like, Kakashi! And Naruto like rushes him. He's like, you're next. Boom. He kills Jiraiya with like chains wrapping all around him, completely like ensnaring him, with Jiraiya not even able to use his Rasen Shuriken attack, as Naruto comes in and like point blank rage, mini-tailed beast bomb destroys his head. His entire body falls to the ground, and Danzo, watching this all, is like, what? How? Then Naruto's like, now you're next. He kills him, and Danzo like survives, but he runs away because he's a coward.
He's an Agi.
Everybody else... Exactly, he's an Agi. That's what I meant, like he runs away. But once this happens, Naruto's left there and everyone else runs. As Naruto like lets out a cackle, he's like, none of you can stop me. Then boom, the entirety of the Akatsuki pulls up on Naruto, and all of a sudden bro's chances of winning went to like 0. You know what I mean? And what's crazy is Kurama's goals all end here. The dude lost. Even though he might have like done everything that he wanted, this would ultimately lead to the 10 tails being brought forth.
Yeah, and the infinite Tsukuyomi. Wait, actually, oh no, there isn't. There's no infinite Tsukuyomi. Oh wait.
No one tails.
There's no one tails yet, unless he hasn't reincarnated. So they have to like hold on to the tail beasts. They can't even do it yet. They can still take it. Like they can't even seal him, can they? No, they can't.
Maybe one of them could like reseal Kurama or something like that, and Naruto comes back to the picture of like,
and they just capture Naruto. Yeah, they have a Naruto like, what's happening? But he's useless because he never got stronger. He can't do anything, so they just tie him up. Oh.
So Naruto literally goes from cage to
cage. And that's like, insane.
Let me go. He's like, please.
He experiences what Kurama experienced from being transferred from one prison to another. That is insane. That's some great writing, by the way. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Naruto at this point literally is just like, eventually once Shukaku comes back, the Akatsuki now is only left with one more goal, to essentially like capture the remaining stuff. And I could see the Akatsuki pulling it off, though, with some casualties like Data.
It's basically just the Akatsuki versus the Cloud Village at this point, and they're cooked. Like they're pretty strong, even if they get the 8 tails, they have Obito and Pain still. Pain versus, I'm sorry, B's not beating Pain. I'm sorry, without any intel. Pain is using the planetary devastation. He's gonna seal him. He's done. So
the Cloud Village would blow up, followed by the Akatsuki members arriving and just like messing everything up. And what's crazy is that as all of this is happening, Naruto is just like still sitting there in that layer. So the final scene of this what if would be like the real Naruto in chains, and he sees the hand of Obito get closer and closer, and as it covers it, Naruto just screams, no! And
it wasn't supposed to be like this. I was supposed to not be a failure.
And Naruto's like, you tricked me. And you have like Kurama inside of him laughing, telling him that at least they're going out together. And Naruto's like, I hate you. You know what
Bro's
I mean?
Anakin Skywalker. I hate you. Yeah, no, I like it though. I like it. Obito finishes his dream of ending this accursed world, and he then summons the infinite Tsukuyomi. However, in the theme of this story, as revenge itself seems to lead to nothing, Obito would be led with horror, as white Zetsu would take over his body, and Kaguya would begin to be resummoned with Black Zetsu. Black Zetsu finally resummoning his mother Kaguya, and she would take over the world, waiting for Ishiki to reappear and the other Otsutsuki to come and attack her planet to reclaim her chakra.
And that's the end of the story, ladies and gentlemen. What if Kurama took over Naruto's body officially? Ends right there. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys thought about today's video. Me and Weeb have been recording since what, like 4? And it's now currently like 7:23. So it took us a while to do this video.
Yeah.
It took us like 4 hours. And mind you, the latter half of this story was all unscripted. So
yeah,
it would genuinely mean the world to me and Weeb if you guys could go down below to the comment section and go check out Weeb's channel. The dude posts some of the craziest Naruto what ifs of all time. And as you guys can see, the dude can clearly cook. So it means so much to us if you guys could go check him out. Leave a like on some of his videos, subscribe to the dude, and also leave a like on today's video, considering that, hey, it's my birthday, so you kind of owe me.
Happy birthday,
you know what I'm saying? If you guys want to leave super thanks down below in the comments, I'm not going to stop y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
little birthday
that's all
present.
I'm saying. I'm being extra greedy today because it's my birthday, so I'm expecting presents.
Of course,
but,
of course.
Anyways, though, ladies and gentlemen, that has been it for me and Weeb today. If you have anything else to say, bro, I'll let you take the stage.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for, like, shouting me out again and always having me on. It's always a pleasure. I know this got a little bit off the rails after we hit the unscripted parts, but we genuinely wanted to just discuss it because it's so much away from canon after this point, because so many key characters are gone, that it really was up for in the air. So if you guys have a better idea, or you have like your own spin on the story after Hiruzen and Orochimaru are destroyed and like the Leaf Village is taken out, what do you guys think would happen? And if you guys want to see more videos of me and Xehther, just let us know. Anyway, thanks again for listening this far, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.